right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox here on the Iconic Video Games channel. I am your host, Axel1324.
And I am CoolCatTerri.
And I'm your resident guest, Dreadpool.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another beautiful Sunday. Let's see, it has stopped raining. It rained last night here. The weather's nice and cloudy, but it's going to be nice and bright later. And I'm staring out the window right now. I love podcasting right in front of my window because I get to see outside and the birds are flying and chirping. And yeah, my yard looks fantastic. How are you this Sunday morning, this Mother's Day? Oh yeah, that's right. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. How is everybody today? Terry.
Doing fantastic. It was a very long week for me, so I'm looking forward to, basically Sunday is essentially my Saturday because I work, on Saturdays. So Saturday is my Friday. So my weekend has officially started. So I'm excited.
That's good. Any plans for today for Mother's Day?
Not for Mother's Day, no. But my mom's up in Wisconsin, so and I'm here in Georgia, so I'm not able to celebrate with her, and I only have fur babies, so I'm not gonna celebrate. So
there you go.
No plans for that.
Dreadpool, welcome. Do you have any plans for Mother's Day?
Yes, we do. We're gonna go out to go get something to eat, hang out, all the little needs and wants that they want to do. So we
that's good.
Probably even visit great grandma.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that, visit my mom, give her some flowers, some balloons, and set it up for that. At least now it's cheap for us. We don't have to buy her jewelry. She's not gonna ever be able to wear it.
You're terrible.
All right. I have no plans for Mother's Day. My mom is out of town today, other than calling her and telling her how much I love her. My mom is out of town. So, what's going on down there? So we have no plans until later in the week when she comes back into town, and then we're going to celebrate. So it's going to be a bit of a late Mother's Day for us. So yeah, that's going to be great. Sorry about that. I literally was unlocking my phone so I could mute it, and sure enough, a video started playing right away. All right. So yeah. Other than that, what have you guys been playing this week? Another week has gone by since last week. What have you guys been playing? And chat, let us know what you've been playing as well.
I messed around a little bit with SnowRunner, but otherwise I didn't really do too much gaming. I've been mostly just editing. I've been trying to get a video out on my YouTube, so it's just lots of editing.
Right? Yeah, I keep forgetting. I've been so busy at work, I haven't had time to put my shorts up like I normally do. And I have 5 shorts in my ready to go, but I don't want to release them all on the same day, and I just forget to release them because I get so tired. But yeah,
well, that's why you can schedule them.
Yeah, schedule them
out. That's what I did.
I wish I could.
You can
on
YouTube.
I found out how to schedule them on the mobile app because that's where I upload all my shorts from.
Yes, once you set them up and you upload them, you go back into it to edit. And on the very bottom, there's a thing where it says go live or and you can private them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a schedule spot. You can do that there. So anyway, So you guys know too. Now you know. What I've been playing is the Game of Life. And let me pull this out. I just did this for this effect. I mean, you know what I mean?
I want someone to put their hand behind you. I want to know if we can see it.
Probably could now. I've been playing the Game of Life. Did do finally for the first of the year, my first Breaking Bread with Dread. So that's basically it. I haven't really had a chance to actually any video games. Just jumped on. Okay,
yeah.
What happened? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was just watching.
You went a little quiet there because I think you covered your mic with your beard.
There we go. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So Game of Life, just dabbled a little bit in anything, but not really considered playing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this week was a boring week for me.
No. So this week, while it's been busy, the Tears of the Kingdom came out, and of course, I'm a huge Zelda guy. I have over 100, almost 200 hours into Breath of the Wild. I consider it to be the best open world game probably until Elden Ring came out. But even Elden Ring was inspired by Breath of the Wild. And I've only got maybe an hour into the Tears of the Kingdom so far, and I'm already loving it. I'm like, oh my God, this game is so much better than Breath of the Wild already. I believe it was IGN who said that Tears of the Kingdom makes Breath of the Wild look like it was a beta launch in comparison. And just an hour in, I can agree with that statement already.
Wow.
Nice.
So it's a game. Like, how could it not get 10s?
So it's going to be a huge Game of the Year contender then.
And honestly, an hour in now, granted, I haven't played all of it, right? An hour in, I don't see anything beating it right now.
Okay.
Not Spider-Man 2, unless Starfield is an 11 out of 10. I don't see anything beating it.
Didn't Breath of the Wild win that year?
It did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know,
definitely...
I love my Nintendo Switch. I love my Zeldas. I have every Zelda game released ever. So, yeah, I'm a huge Zelda guy. So my comments could be incredibly biased, you know. So take that for what you will. And then, but the reason I only have an hour into Breath of the Wild is because I'm putting all my time to finish God of War Ragnarok. I'm just having too much fun with side quests. I get sidetracked so easily in the game. I'm like, what's that? Ooh, I got to go find all these champions and what do they call them? Berserkers. All these berserkers. So I'm running around trying to find the berserkers and beat them. All kinds of stuff. So right now, most of my time has been spent beating God of War Ragnarok, and it's good. The story is good. I just got to a plot twist portion of it. And my wife has been watching me play God of War, so she's like couch gaming, and she says this game is so much better than Elden Ring, and I'm like, and I go, the narrative is definitely better, but I can tell you right now, the gameplay is not. Elden Ring beats God of War in gameplay, just flat out. But it's good. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it, and the story is something else. It's something else. So that's what I've been playing. But enough about us, guys. Let's check in with the iconic chat. Let's see. Joining us this morning, we got Doggy Dog, my panel member from the Iconic Video Games podcast. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Doggy Dog. And he says, happy Mother's Day to all those awesome moms out there. That's right. We got Splendiferous. He says, wow, it's either you guys are extremely hyped for the show or you just have nothing to do. I'm hyped. What about you, Terry?
This is the guy who was here just as early, man. Splendiferous was in the chat before we were live. So what's he talking about?
I love Splendiferous. He's so cool. But it feels weird to read something not in all caps. So we got to fix that. There we go. Good morning, my friends. Splendiferous always talks in caps. Jesse Darby says, good morning. Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Xbox crew. There we go. Good morning to you, Jesse Darby. Thank you so much for being here. We got Nick's joining us. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We got John 907I. He says, hey, everybody. Hey, John 907I. Thank you so much for being here. My beautiful wife. Again, I'm sad it doesn't show the emojis, but she's saying hi to everybody. We got, hey, all, how's everybody doing today? We're doing fantastic so far. And then we got Megalodon Death Dealer saying, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Megalodon Death Dealer. The other panel member on Iconic Video Games podcast. Me and her have been running the Axel and Death Dealer show for the last 2 weeks, and I think last week was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it, especially our intermission. Let's see. We got General Spartan joining us. Let's see. Thinking about killing the world boss in Diablo 4 Server Slam for the 3rd time. Wow, you might have an addiction, General Spartan. I actually, now that I think about it, Diablo 4 might be another contender. Yeah. And we got Sir X-Man saying, good morning, just listening. Good morning, Sir X-Man. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Sir X-Man. I said X-Men. And yeah. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? I did not. So let's get going.
Double check that last one. I think someone's a little full of themselves. There you go.
Megalodon Death Dealer says, we're amazing. We sure are. Don't let anybody tell you any different. We are amazing. All right, guys. So the what's making the news this week. Let me see if I can start sharing here. I'm always nervous to hit buttons here because if I hit the wrong button, it just kills the stream. So let me share what I have here. There we go. And let me get it ready. Whoa. See what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Hitting the wrong buttons? All right. So the ROG Ally released just this, or not released, but went into pre-orders. It was a co-event with some creators, including Xbox. Xbox Head of Communications was there to help launch this thing. And a lot of people are very excited for it, including myself. I am also excited for it. And I am actually considering taking this thing out for a spin. And I just want to get everybody's impressions on it. What do you think? Are you into handhelds? If so, what impresses you about the ROG Ally? If not, what is the ROG Ally not doing that it needs to do for you to get on the ROG Ally train? And you know what? Let's start with Dreadpool, our resident guest. Dread, ROG Ally, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in this more than the Steam Deck. This seems to finally start checking off the right boxes. I'm not jumping in head first on this. I technically don't like to game unless I'm on the road, and when I do that, I usually bring my consoles with me. So
That's right.
again, this would help me stop from doing that. But at the same time, when I am traveling, I usually I'm too busy to do anything. So it's the sitting down, winding down that I would be able to do that. And this would, for the battery life, this would probably suffice. Again, I've got a phone that can do just about the same thing, so it's like, what do you do? And I barely play games on my phone. I can play on the cloud. I can play the games that are on the Android. So I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just one of those things that I think I'm gonna have to feel it out and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's it'll be an impulse buy, basically.
Yeah, definitely an impulse buy for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I see that we're there when it comes to handhelds. We're finally jumping beyond Game Boys and the iterations from there. And with the Switch leading the charge and the Steam Deck showing you how to do it right, and this is doing a one-up on it. There's been other handhelds that have worked also in between, and I just think this one here actually, for the power it is definitely a mini PC in your hand. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. If I can get away with it, I might be able to buy it. But you saw the hands choking me earlier. We might see what the verdict is.
That's right. So, Xbox mobile gaming has, it starts with the xCloud. Like Xbox has never done mobile gaming, period. So the fact that they did xCloud and are doing the little Xbox controller attachment on your phone, I wish I would have brought mine because I have one, where you attach the Xbox to your controller. I think that's pretty cool. I use it all the time. I was just using it yesterday to play Forza Horizon, going really well. But also, the Xbox Series S, some people made that TV screen, that LCD screen that you can attach to the Xbox Series S to make it mobile. And, Steam Deck can play some Xbox games mobile. But of course, you got to go to, what is it, Orion DB or something like that to check to make sure that the games, your Steam Deck games, are compatible with Steam Deck. It requires something extra from the developers. Don't know how much extra, but something extra to use SteamOS. And now we're having something like the ROG Ally that it's Windows native. So that means we're going to be able to load the Xbox Game Pass or the Xbox app on it and download games directly to the device and play 100% natively, which is what we, as mobile games, that's what you should always want, is native. And at that, they're console quality games. Do you think that is exciting, Dreadpool, for you as someone
Oh
who
yeah.
maybe not so interested but is really thinking about it?
Yeah, no, that's the exciting part of it. Because if you think, because I was doing the same thing, I had the attachment, you hooked it up, and I took it to work, thinking, okay, this is awesome. I'll be playing some games, maybe just trying to catch up with some people online, and I realized after about maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, that I only played it a couple times,
Mhm.
and to me it was a hassle, and it was nice convenience. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But it was a hassle to just do that while I was at work on a break. Um, but having everything native, that's the main thing about this. With the Steam Deck, you had to sideload Windows and backdoor games that you
Yeah.
wanted to play on the Xbox. And this, you don't have to do it. It's already there. It's already going to give you the best that it can. You're not going to have any added processes in the background just to get these games to run on those on the other Steam Deck. And with this, like I said, it's native. It's just going to work. And it's a good thing. It's a good direction. And for Xbox not doing that and just supporting this, that's amazing.
Mhm.
They're supporting that you could take this out there. And I see more companies looking at this, and because of how well the Steam Deck worked, and this
Yeah.
being an actual Windows 11, let's call it what it is, a PC.
Yeah. A little
This will,
laptop.
yeah, just laptop without a fold, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this will do it. I did it say that it's not touchscreen though, right?
It
I don't
is
remember.
touchscreen.
It is touchscreen.
It
Oh,
is
that's right.
touchscreen
That's
from
right.
what
Yeah, yeah.
I think it is tactile because I remember them talking about it.
Yeah.
I watched the full 3-hour show, and I do
It's a
remember them saying something about touchscreen. No, this is not the video I want. Sorry about that, guys. I wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, you don't ignore that. You don't look behind that curtain.
That's right.
But yeah, it's yeah, there you go. See, touchscreen. We were just
Yeah.
talking about it. So overall, like I said, I think it's a good piece of equipment. It's the next step into perfecting a handheld. Nintendo's only done us so well and so far with it that I'm
Mhm.
sorry, but getting an OLED and not changing anything, not updating anything, I understand why, but I expect the next one to be competitive with these handhelds. I expect the next Switch 2 or Switch Pro or Switch whatever to handle Switch U, I guess, right? Wii
Mhm.
U, Switch U, um,
Yeah.
to be competitive, and that's what we want. We want them to keep enhancing this, not get stagnant. And with all this, I mean, it's a nice ecosystem that this is being involved in. Play any
Absolutely.
Xbox game, play anything that they have available there. That's not bad.
All right.
I don't know if you
So,
could do Excel files, but
yeah, I don't know if you can do Excel files on it good either, but yeah. Can you play it on your TV? Yeah, it has a dock
yes.
for any HDMI input device. So yeah. Terry, I know you are not a mobile gamer.
I am not.
So I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about the ROG Ally basically being a keyboardless laptop.
Okay, so for me, to give some people some background, the last handheld I got excited for was my PSP. All right, I have not done handheld gaming in a very long time. I do own a Switch, but I keep it docked 100% of the time because the battery life on handhelds is crap. Because now everything
Yeah.
has to be, because of frame rate and tongue tied and image quality and stuff nowadays with bigger screens, it's not really possible at this point until they, change, battery technology in these handhelds. The battery life is always going to be crap. It's not like back in the day when you had a tiny screen the size of your thumb. You know what I mean? Your battery life would last forever.
Right.
Those days are gone. All right. But for me, with my lifestyle, I have no need for a handheld. When I travel, I'm the one driving, so that means I can't play a handheld. At work, I can't play a handheld even on my break, because at my job, you have to go through a metal detector, so you can't bring your cell phone or anything like that into the building for security reasons, because where I work in a warehouse where there's firearms, so they have to make sure people aren't like saying like, hey, I got, guns over here coming, slipping through the dock, you know what I mean? So for security reasons, we can't have any smart technology in the building outside of, higher ups that get that approved. But I have no time that I would ever be able to play it outside of at home. And if I'm at home, why would I need to buy this and dock it when I already have a PC? This would be great for someone who is a console gamer at heart and they don't have a PC. This would give them a little mini PC to where they could dock it on their TV and they could still, get that experience. And that, which is, would work great. And, for like $600 to $700, depending on which version you get, that's a lot cheaper than getting, a tower. It's not a bad deal. I think that's, a good option for people who aren't already in the PC gaming base. It's just for me, I have a PC. I don't need it. I have my Xbox, so I don't need it. It just doesn't fit in my lifestyle. But I do think it's cool. I am a fan of Republic of Gamers. I have their stuff in my PC. I have their motherboard and whatnot, and I love it. I love the controls that they went with the Xbox style on there, and I love the. Oh my god, I'm trying to think, and I can't process thought this morning. But like the thumbsticks,
asymmetrical thumbsticks,
the asymmetrical thumbsticks, because those, if regardless of what platform you prefer, if you go from the one style to the other, you're going to hate it because it's just you're used to it. So for me, Xbox primarily, I play primarily on Xbox. Having the asymmetrical is just fantastic for me because that's what I'm used to and I love it. If this had come out when I was younger and I was into the handheld gaming, this would have been a dream. I would have loved it. All right, but that was PSP days. That was PSP days. And back then, we were excited to get a handheld, the PSP, because we could watch movies on it. They had access to the internet. Like that was mind blowing back then, So see how much stuff has and been upgraded over the decades now. That's fantastic. I think kids today are gonna freaking want this thing. Like, this is amazing. Like I would want this back then, But like now, I have zero use for it now. But I do think it's cool.
I think it's cool too. Let me check it with the chat before the chat keeps escaping me because people are typing. By the way, I love that you guys are so active in the chat. But I like reading the chat because I like interacting with you guys, the people who make this show. Jago Coogan joins us. He said, "Good morning, everyone. Put your serious face on with the last Berserker. He's a pain in the peach. He took me a while. Maybe. I don't know who the last Berserker is, but so far the one I've hated the most was the Poison one, just because he had ads and they were Poison, and I hate Poison. I think it's OP, but I beat him anyway. Let's see. So shout out to Jago. We're talking about God of War there. Doggy says it's a no for me, especially at $700. Whew. Fastback OG and LG podcast says, good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Fastback. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see who else we got. We got Jago Coogan says he has zero interest in a handheld gaming device from anyone. And Fastback says, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. That's right. And let's see. We got OCD Gamer. Yeah, OCD Gamer saying, good morning, gamers. Good morning, OCD Gamer. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see. Nix says, by the way, Nix, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. He says, I have a 1X player mini, but never play uncharged, so the battery life doesn't bother me. I did pre-order the ROG Ally. What is a 1X player mini? Now I'm curious. Hold on. A 1X player mini. and there's I want to click images, but there's no images.
Wow.
Let's see. Holy crap! This thing is expensive. $2,000.
What?
Yeah. Okay,
All right,
hold on. Let me see. Can you guys see this? That is expensive. Wow.
I feel like
Nick.
that's probably inflated due to rarity. It's probably not what it cost when it first came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking here on Amazon. They're 1,600 from 1,000 to 1,600. So,
wow.
Nick,
here's
how
the
much
thing,
did it
though,
cost? How much did it cost when you bought it? Like original
if
cost.
you want to be my sugar daddy, Nick, I won't be as expensive as the 1X Player Mini. Just saying. All right, let's see. OCD Gamer says I didn't buy the Steam Deck because I knew this was coming. Oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
Wow, I wish I would have known this was coming. This is what I was hoping for, but I was very interested in the Steam Deck when it first came out, and as time went on, I got less interested. Let's see. Splendifer says I want one. Yeah.
It's cool.
Let's see. Yeah, the last handheld I got excited for was a PSP2, and I barely used it. I have zero interest in handhelds. I don't game away from the house. There you go.
The one thing though, they keep showing, because we have this on a loop, the USB connection. That cable is freaking massive, man. You see the size of that thing? That they plug into the top of it.
That's for the external GPU.
Not the cord that they plug in so they can dock it is freaking massive.
No, that's the external GPU.
Not that one. Not that one.
Hold on. Now I got
the other one. Like, what is this other one?
No, keep going that way. Keep going. Right there. Oh. Yeah, that one.
That
right
one. That thing is huge.
That goes to the GPU.
Thing.
Yeah, that goes to the external GPU.
Yeah, that goes to the external GPU. That's not the USB. That's a GPU.
But that's still a huge connector for a little handheld.
I mean, you're connecting a 4090 laptop on it.
I hear you, but that's freaking massive, though.
Something like $2,000 for that, by the way. Never.
The amount of heat that probably throws off too.
Yeah. And Dreadpool says, please remember to like and share. That's right, everybody. Be sure to like and share this out. It really helps us get discovered. Every thumbs up helps us get discovered. And of course, every share helps us get discovered. We would appreciate it. Let's see. They make battery packs. Mobile battery packs. Yeah. I'm
saving.
I'm not going to get into it, but I
just get yourself the
for my Game Boys.
Get the battery backpacks. You know, the battery backpacks. You know, for people who go to like a lot of conventions and stuff, and just go that route, man, because that's the only way you're going to get enough battery life.
Yeah. Nick says the price point is unreal, and if you ever want to combine it with his 4090 external GPU, it's still around 50% less in cost compared to a 4090 laptop rig. So it's still price efficient, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Red Monkey Butt joins us. Thank you so much, Red Monkey Butt. I can never get over this name. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see. I love asymmetrical sticks from OCD Gamer. That's right. We all love him. At least I do. And Fastback says this is the best way for Xbox to get in the handheld market by third party, less risks. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which is the main reason I'm interested in this, which I'm going to get into here in a minute.
Which is the same thing. I'm looking at it with VR. You know, I know it's a different subject, but same thing. You know, if they get into VR, let the third parties take care of it. That's less risk on you. You just make sure you give them games and software to do it. And you know. But when you look at the screen right here, it shows you every little detail of what this thing can do.
There you go. By the way, Dreadpool, it's not looking good for you, buddy. Megalon.Dilly. It reminds me of a Switch that was put together with their eyes closed.
Wow.
It's a definite no for me.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Bye.
Harsh criticism.
Harsh.
All right. As someone who has a Switch, I think this is actually superior to my Switch.
Oh, it definitely is superior.
Yeah.
I understand some people's look at it. It doesn't, it's maybe kind of gaudy. when it comes to certain things. You know, RGB for
Mhm.
some people is godlike, and for others it's gaudy. So to each their own. I'll just go ahead and pre-order it now. Thanks, babe.
There you go. Decision made. Let's see. It also came with a case of Doc. Oh, hold on. Where Mix is talking about that thing he bought. Let's see. Where's Doggy Dog? He said, the last handheld I got excited for was the Game Boy Original. Wow.
Oh wow!
Back in the day.
With the green screen.
That's right. That dot matrix screen. Let's see. Luis Vian says, I agree with Mr. Doggy. And Eternal Shaddai joins us from Xbox International en Espanol. He says, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Eternal Shaddai. We appreciate you. Jason Max says, just remember, Xbox is number one. That's right. We're talking all Xbox right here on Good Morning Xbox. Good morning, everyone. Cross fingers, a bunch of poop faces. What are you doing, Shaddai? Where are you texting us from?
Is he back in prison again?
1970 Chrome Pony joins us. He says, good morning, y'all. Good morning, 1970. We appreciate you. All right. So, my thoughts on the ROG Ally. I was excited to hear about this. So, I am a mobile gamer. The fact that Xbox decided to do the xCloud on my phone, I remember getting in on the first beta wave, and I still have it. I have Xbox Ultimate, and I use it all the time. I play this in my bedroom with my controller when I want to lay down and play Xbox. And I don't mean like recline on the couch. I mean like, roll over on my stomach and just hold it, like you used to hold it back in the day, your Game Boys. I love that. I love the fact that it has touch controls. I think Xbox is doing a fantastic job on their cloud initiative. But the latency, man. Even on Wi-Fi, you experience latency. Now, it's not extreme, and it is getting better every time I load up the Xbox app, but when I get away from if I'm playing the same game on my Series X in my living room, and I go to my bedroom and I play on the same Wi-Fi network, only 10 feet away, on my xCloud, you can feel the latency. And I do have to adjust for it, but it's there. So I can never get over that, but I do love it. And I do think it's a good compromise for what you get, right? Console quality gaming on the go. And I think the gaming market is ready for that console quality gaming on the go. It's one of the biggest reasons I think the Switch is so successful. It's because Nintendo no longer differentiates from their mobile releases to their mainline releases. There is no, Super Mario Odyssey and then Super Mario Superstar Land on their mobile or whatever it is, right? Because if you remember back in the day, oh my gosh, I hit the buttons too late. If you remember back in the day, you used to play Super Mario World, and on the Game Boy, they had Super Mario Land, right? And they always had differentiated the mobile game from the mainline game, and Nintendo merged those to now be just the main game. And I think the Switch is a fantastic console. I love my Switch. I think it's priced very well. The games are amazing. Nintendo has shown everybody that there is a mobile gaming market. I don't think we would have the Steam Deck or any of this if it wasn't for Nintendo showing and succeeding. And of course, as Xbox gamers, we benefit from this. So the Steam Deck is great because you can buy your games on Steam, your Xbox games on Steam. But that I don't like double dipping. When games with Windows came out and they did the whole Xbox Play Anywhere, I loved that. Unfortunately, that doesn't apply to Steam. You still have to buy your games on Steam. So I've been waiting for something that can run Game Pass natively, where I can download my games onto it and play it natively, and the ROG Ally fixes that. And I am very interested. I don't think it's overpriced for what you get. The reviews from people I trust, someone that tells it like it is, like Linus Tech Tips, he let you know the pains of owning this and the great pluses of owning it, and he says he considers it better than the Steam Deck. So shout out to Linus. So yeah, I am very interested in this. I'm still undecided if I'm gonna buy it because reasons. It's $700. I'm right there with everybody. It's $700, and I am looking for a new computer, and my computer is going to be well in the thousands because that's just the way it is. I got to move my money, decide where I'm going to put it. So yeah, I am very interested in it. If I had Nick's level money, I would definitely buy it right now. I would pre-order it. So yeah, I am very interested in the ROG Ally. I think they did a lot of things good. The computer that I'm streaming from is an ROG computer, and my next computer is going to be an ROG computer. I am a huge fan of ROG, Republic of Gamers. So I think Asus does a fantastic job on it. So yeah, the ROG Ally, I cannot wait for it. I want to get it, but again, I just got to consider it.
So I got a question for you. Would you get the more expensive one or the cheaper one?
I would always get the more expensive one. The which one is it? The Ryzen Z1 Extreme?
Yes.
Right? Where was it? This one?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the Ryzen Z1 Extreme. I mean, look, you get a lot more flops, T-flops, for only $100. And if you're a gamer, you know that power matters, especially if you're a PC gamer, you know that power matters.
Yeah. See, to me, it always, when you're talking about a minuscule difference at that, when it's at that high of a price, always go for the extra money. Spend that extra money. It's well worth it. Same thing when it came to the Steam Deck. People were going with the cheapest route, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just upgrade it." Just spend the money now and be done with it, because you're gonna spend that, if not more, to upgrade your machine.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, I really love that they tacked on this $100 and put it into something that matters, the processor. They didn't put it into more memory. Like, a lot of people, they charge you $100 more for, like, I don't know, 50% more memory or whatever.
Like the phone company?
Yeah, like the phone companies. Exactly. Like your
phone companies, yeah.
So I really love that they put the $100 into power, gaming power. So as a gamer, that's important to me, and I like that. But in case anyone is wondering, this thing is a big boy. Here it is.
Yes.
We found this video from Mr. Who's the Boss? Mr. Who's the Boss? He compares it to the Switch. So I have a Switch. I have an OG Switch. This is a Switch OLED, which is bigger than the OG Switch. And here's the ROG Ally. It is a big chunky boy. They have the same size screen almost, but it is a chunky boy. I mean, look at the size of the buttons in comparison. Yes. Look at the thumbsticks.
You're gonna have better hand placement.
The full size buttons.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm looking at. We mentioned it earlier when we were talking about this in the green room. I like the fact that the pad actually sits inside because it's wider, more wider grip to sit better. Where for someone like us, bigger hands, it's you're like constrained. You can see how much more relaxed his left thumb is versus his right thumb. It's just the way his hand is stationed and cramped. Yeah,
he's holding it down where the grip is, and this is heavier than the Switch, and it looks like it's more relaxed. As you said, he has a better grip on it. And the Switch, look how much over he has to cover it.
Yeah, and then trying to bring that thumb down. It's granted, that's not the optimal position for his hand to hold it, but he's using two hands to hold the Switch, because you notice it's resting on his left palm.
Oh, that's right. I did not notice that. You are absolutely right.
And it's lighter. So again, weight is a big difference, but hand grip is also where the weight differences can be altered on the longevity of the strain, you know what I mean, to hold it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And I also like that it has the exhaust vents on the top instead of the back. That matters to me. I feel like the ROG Ally did a lot of things great. So, given the choices we have, and I might, let me end a poll real quick, because we're about to switch topics here, but I want to do one more poll here. So, Terry, we did a poll. Could you read us the results while I start up a new one?
Wow. So the question was, are you getting a ROG Ally, and we actually had a split at 41% tie between no and you're undecided. So that means that's a pretty good high possibility of people possibly maybe getting it at some point. And then 17% said yes, they are take my money. Here's my pre-order. So very cool.
Yeah, so only 17%. Yeah, I am in the 41%. Okay, first off, I'm in the yes camp. The only thing that keeps me in the I'm undecided camp is the price. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the price, I would seriously try to convince somehow.
The thing is,
to be
you know,
okay
Mother's
with
Day
it.
is right here, man. Maybe you got to really butter her up.
Maybe
honestly, you could just wait a few months because technology depreciates so fast because there's always new things coming out. I would wait a little bit and you could probably get a better deal.
I figured it out. I need to order it. I got to turn that into like $1,000 ROG Ally by adding $300 hoop earrings to it. And here's your Mother's Day present.
There you go.
This is for you.
What? It comes with free earrings. Oh my God, no way. That's
She's
so
giving
funny.
me the death stare right now.
I would love to see it. It's so funny. All right, guys. So there's a question for my panel members as well. Is which Xbox mobile device would you prefer? The first option is xCloud on your mobile phone. The second one is the LG G Cloud, if you remember that device. The Steam Deck, because you can buy Xbox games on it, or something like the ROG Ally. If you had to pick one, and we'll start with Terry because she's not a mobile gamer, so I'm very interested to hear her having to choose one.
So yes, I am not a mobile gamer. Now, if something crazy changes in my life to where the xCloud became like a huge factor for me, then I'm gonna want the best experience I can get in that medium. So then at that point, I would go with the Ally.
All right, the Ally. There you go. Dreadpool, which one and why?
Oh, the cell phone. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Are you kidding me? The Ally. Of course I would want that. I mean, especially not just getting that, I would also, this is also wishful thinking, right? Get the external GPU for it. Just because I want to do exactly that, what we see on the screen right there. I want to do that and experience that part of it. I want to experience the handheld portion of it, traveling, but you get the GPU to put that in a backpack with a keyboard and mouse, and I just go to a hotel, pop that in there to the TV, and we're off to the go. Other than the hotel's Wi-Fi being sucky, this will be fun. I think that's the way to go.
It's native.
Well, yeah, but Wi-Fi sucky when you're talking about uploads at a hotel. So if I'm trying to play multiplayer, forget it. If I'm just trying to download and play like a single player game, I should be fine. It's just you got to remember, hotels aren't up to speed. They just want to give you something, and that's it. That's all they care about is you can say that, hey, I gave you Wi-Fi. So something like this would be cool to instead of lugging, like I said before, lugging everything with me to do all this. So, but yeah, the Ally is the way to go.
Absolutely. So I already use xCloud on my phone. I love it. I think for what it is, it's fantastic. But nothing beats native. And if I had to play native, it's either going to be Steam Deck or ROG Ally. But the fact that the Steam Deck is a proprietary OS that Steam may or may not just dump anytime they want and no longer support scares me. Whereas Windows 11, will be supported forever. Games will be updated basically until they move on to the next project. I think the ROG Ally is the best choice for me, again, just because it's native and it's powerful. So I am going with the ROG Ally. And let's check out where the chat went. Let's go ahead and end that poll right there. How did the chat do, Terry?
It didn't pop up for me. I can't see it.
Did it pop up yet?
No, I was able to vote, but yeah, it's not popping up.
If you vote, you can't see.
Oh, no.
I don't see the results. They didn't show up.
All right, so 13 people voted. 76% went with the ROG Ally. 15% with the xCloud on my phone. 7% went with the Steam Deck, and 0% went with the LG G Cloud. Oh, burn to the G Cloud.
Because nobody knows what it is.
Not enough advertising. Sorry, G Cloud. Let's check in with the chat while we end this. Terry, if you want to get yourself ready, let's check in with the chat. Let's see. Nick says that it's lighter than the Steam Deck, which is a positive, and it plays Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p at 60 frames. And that's all you need to know. That's right. I remember them joking when they were asking if it could run Crysis, and I'm like, screw Crysis. Can it run Flight Simulator? That's what I care about. Let's see. I don't know if this is Chael Walker or Keo Walker. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. He says, I will pick it up, but maybe not day one. You know what? I might be in that camp. I might be in that camp as well. Let's see. Oh, no. Eternal Shaddai does not have faith in the handheld market. He says those handhelds are going to end up like the PlayStation Vita back in the darkness. Oh, no.
See,
No.
but that's the problem with certain things being supported by certain companies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it's an outside company doing something like this, as long as it's a PC, you can still work it. You can still do certain things. So I don't think the Steam Deck would have any issues other than the Steam like restricting certain things, blocking you out. That's why people were backdooring Windows 11 and Windows 10 onto the Steam Deck to be able to get around that. Same thing here with the Ally. Yeah, with the Ally, I don't see them changing anything because they're still using Windows 11, which will be supported. So you could still do other games. You don't have to use xCloud. You don't have to do all that stuff. It's still a PC. You can still do many other things. Whereas the Switch, once they stop supporting it, it's done.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as one and done, and that's it. You're done because the way the Vita is right now. With the Vita and the PSP, it's all the little people that are making these games, keeping it supported because PlayStation just gave up on it.
They jailbroke it.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for these hackers and the small devs that, or I guess you would say devs, the small indie people that are creating games specifically for these devices, I mean, they're still putting out stuff. I think someone not too long ago, probably about a year ago or so, put out a game for the Atari 2600. So think about that.
That's right.
There'll always be support if there's a community behind it, no matter if the bigger companies stop the support. It's more likelihood with the ROG and the Steam Deck that the support will continue on from the homebrew company.
Yeah, and shout out to those people that love devices so much that they decide to learn how to code for it. So shout out to them.
Yep.
Let's see. Nick brings up another good point. He says, on the portable, you have access to subscription services for Game Pass, EA Play Pro, Ubisoft plus access to Epic Game Store, Steam, GOG, no hacking required like on the Steam Deck. That's a huge W.
That is.
Thank you, Nix. Yeah.
That is a huge W. That's
that
why we're saying
a huge W.
This is native on the ROG.
Yep. I'm ready for console quality gaming at home with these consoles when they finally use all the power available in these boxes. Me too. Yeah, to Jago's point, they did say that the ROG Ally was capable of FSR and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, so is my Xbox and nobody uses it. Not that I know of yet. Right?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
They got to use the tools. And if they don't use the technology, I mean, they milked everything out of the 360 and PlayStation 3 days. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, they milked it because it was to a certain degree that they couldn't go beyond. But they haven't even touched anything. And we're only 4 years or 3-4 years into this.
Yeah. We're about halfway through the gen.
Yeah, they need to push it faster.
Absolutely, I agree.
Utilize everything and then start milking out the power that we can.
That's right. My wife tells me something similar to your wife. You have to make your sugar mama happy to buy this. Yeah, I do. I do my best to keep you happy. Let's see. Let's see. That's just it. When you're talking about a price over 500, you're talking about a Series X or a portable device. I just can't do it. It might be too overpriced. Yeah. Nick says $5.99 model is not worth it. To be honest, I agree. $6.99. Let's see. I agree. Axel, Nintendo Switch has revived the handheld market, and with better Wi-Fi mobile network hotspot, gamers can take their digital libraries on the go. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if the ROG handheld has a long cable to allow unlimited play. No, you probably have to buy it, but it does come with a 65-watt charger. That should be enough to keep that thing powered.
It should be enough.
Should be. Although, I don't know how power hungry it is, because I know, like, on my laptop, my Republic of Gamers laptop, when it is running full steam, I have a 200-watt charger, and it cannot keep up. So, yeah.
I think you're right. Part of it is between the game, what the console's going, what the handheld's going to do, and how fast those batteries are able to recharge, and how they would use the power consumption coming from the charger and redirect it to between battery and playing, towards the handheld. So I think that's partially in the design of the handheld, which way they would do it. So hopefully they engineered it right, where they can keep the battery topped off while giving you the power that you need just through the charger. But like Axel said, sometimes some of these things need more power than the charger can handle, because the battery just can't much that much charge. So even though it can handle a higher charge or higher wattage, you can't go any higher than that. But if you're playing, you can go higher, because you're trying to do two things at the same time. It just depends on how they've engineered it, and we won't know until we actually get our hands on it and thoroughly test it.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that right, Megalodon dealer? And we need it for the show now. It's for research.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Red Monkey Butt says, I can't get over this name, man. Red Monkey Butt says, can't play Starfield on Switch. End of debate. That's right. But you can play it on the ROG Ally. Let's see. I do like playing on my phone with the Razer Kishi. I have the Razer Kishi too, but my phone is too fat for it, and it peels the screen protector off, and I'm sad about it. So I'm very sad about the Razer Kishi not working on my phone.
Yeah, see, and that's why I didn't buy mine. I wanted to, but with the OtterBox, I'm not taking the OtterBox off just so I can,
Yeah, I had to take my even with my protector off, it still held it too tight for the screen protector to stay on. So I'm very sad about it.
I would have to have a dedicated cell phone just to do that, and it's not worth it. I mean, at that point in time, I might as well just buy the ROG Ally.
Jacob Coogan, I see what you're saying about your hotel travels, but I'm not putting that on this stream. If you guys want to read it, that's up to you guys. Let's see. Fastback says, if I was traveling a lot, I might consider this. Splendifer says, what the hell does Shaddai know anyway? What are you guys talking about over here? What did you say, Shaddai? Oh my goodness. Let's see. Who else? Crazy Greek Dude joins us. Crazy Greek Dude. Yo, thank you so much for joining us, Crazy Greek Dude. We appreciate you. You're Wicked Hot also joins us. He says, hey, everyone. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. Took the mom out to breakfast. Hey, it is Mother's Day. You make sure you treat your mom right. Don't make her work today.
So
Kalimera, Crazy Greek Dude.
Shaddai's comment that he was referring to is Shaddai had said that the handheld's going to end up like the PlayStation Vita back into the darkness. So
I agree with Splendifer's thing. What the hell does Shaddai know anyway? I agree with Splendifer's on that one too. Shout out to Eternal Shaddai, man. The ROG Ally is a next-gen console for Mr. Kima. By the way, Mr. Kima, thank you so much for joining us. You are appreciated. Let's see. It is a next-gen console. It's I think they're doing a lot right.
I think, like I said before, I think this is the next step to force Switch or Nintendo with a Switch 2, Switch U, Switch, new Switch, whatever they want to call it, Super Switch. That's the next step to pushing that to the next level.
Yeah, which they should. I love my Nintendo Switch. So the Switch 2, come on.
I see it more as the evolution of the gaming laptop. You wouldn't need a gaming laptop. If you want a laptop for work so you can do all your Word and Excel stuff, fine. But if you get a laptop specifically for gaming, this is basically a way to not have to waste money on a gaming laptop.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's for those that like to play with controllers.
Yeah, because if you're getting, just look at the ROG laptops. Those usually start out around $2,000.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
So
I know.
so you could go this route and still get that 4090 if you want to throw that on there, and it would still like Nick said earlier, you would be able to save money in the long run than you spending upwards of $4,000 on a laptop for gaming. And it's like a lot of people do that, and it's like at that point, if you're spending $4,000 on a gaming laptop, you really should just get the desktop. You know what I mean?
But you don't know my life, Terry. And so I have an ROG gaming laptop. I got this when the 1080s were brand new. So this laptop was $2,000 before the price hikes. Yep. And the reason I got it was because I moved a lot, and it was just easier to move. I didn't have a home. Now I have a home. I'm going to be here till I die. I'm going tower. My next one is tower. So yeah, I've definitely bought for what I needed. But I love my ROG laptop. I do. I think it's the best laptop I've owned.
Yeah, I have two of them. And I don't use them anymore. So like I'm never gonna buy a new one. So it's like if I decided I wanted to go that route again, I would just go this route.
As soon as I get my next one, I am either gifting this to family or selling it. One of the two. I don't keep old hardware. Laptop computer hardware. It just doesn't hold up like classic consoles do. Casket Repair says, morning, y'all. Morning, Casket Repair. Thank you so much for dropping in. We appreciate you. But guys, I think we have ROG talked our way enough. I think it's time to move over to Terry here in a minute.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Indie Game Spotlight, and I got another great one for you guys yet again this week. The one that I'm going to show you is going to be for those of you who are fans of action-adventure games, beat-em-ups, with some Soulsy, influence in there for, to make your gaming a little bit more challenging. So let me go ahead and show you the trailer. Enjoy.
Grandpa is dead.
Say the words.
His bones are earth. His flesh is dust. His breath.
His breath is wind.
His breath is wind. Where will I go?
Is there anyone who can take care of you?
My brother. But he doesn't want to see me.
All right now. I'll take you somewhere safe. But that's it. Gemini is expecting you.
I assume you're here about the boy?
We need the boy.
I need the child alive. If he's dead, he can't help me.
Heal me. Gemini has the artifact of pain, and she can use it even if she doesn't win the game of dice. Imagine the power she has to threaten anyone with that.
So why is old Gemini so keen on getting her hands on you?
I'm cursed. It's why Grandpa is dead. It's why my brother hates me. I'm cursed, and everyone I touch is cursed too.
You cannot escape Gemini. I invoke the one law.
Help!
What are you doing to the boy?
You think I had a choice?
I don't care about your grand plan.
You will never leave.
While there is no justice, there will be no law.
All right, so this game... Hold on, I gotta make sure I stop it on this end. All right, so this game is called Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Now, this is actually the third game in a series, all right? So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this series whatsoever, you need to go, and I highly recommend you look up the first two. Now, the first two is it's Xenoclash 1 and 2, and Xeno with a Z, okay? Not the, Nintendo and Sega version where they always put X in front of everything. It's a Xeno with a Z. All right, so look up Xenoclash 1 and 2. They're available on Xbox and on PC if you want to get more into the whole world and stuff like that. The art style for me reminds me of the book Where the Wild Things Are. It's just really trippy. You got a lot of crazy, weird, like creatures and stuff. It's a very unique world. It's fantastic. This is a game that you definitely should look into, like the whole series. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to definitely. It's basically it's kind of like this little gem that no one really knows about, and it's really, really well done. And I highly recommend you guys check this stuff out. And when it comes to, so basically your story, you're playing as Pseudo, and he is, basically trying to protect this boy who has healing properties. And so this evil character, Gemini, that they referenced in the trailer, wants, that healing property for herself. So you go through all this whole story, and your combat is going to be based on, before you can go into combat, you have to perform the ritual, which we saw them sitting there playing dice. That's the ritual. You play dice. The winner is then going to get a tactical advantage. It's going to be like different advantages, whether someone's in fog or like a different randomized thing that's going to make the battle easier or harder depending on if you win or lose the ritual. All right, so go ahead, play this game. You're going to love it. And when you're doing the combat, you can switch between first and third person. So you can actually see your fists landing the punches on the face if you go first person, or you can go third if you're just not a fan of first person. But it's fantastic. And it's the $30 on PC, $40 on consoles, and it's on all platforms except for the Switch. All right, so Switch doesn't have it. But if you PlayStation, Xbox, PC, go and check it out. But like I said, there's 3 games in the series. This is game 3. So if you end up trying this one first and really liking it, go ahead and dive into the other 2.
All right. What another fantastic game by CoolCatTerri.
So do we need to play the other ones at all?
No.
To understand it?
No.
Nice.
All right. Well, there you go.
Oh,
So,
I want to add one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The third game, it adds some RPG elements, so you actually will get to earn attributes, so you can kind of level up and change your stuff. The first 2 do not do that.
Okay, so the first 2 are pure action adventure.
Pure action adventure. The third one, they put a little bit of RPG elements into it.
All right, there you go. Some little spice in there, little RPG spiciness. All right, so I wanted to talk about a little fun, and that was Bionic Arms, mostly because in the new Zelda, right away you get a Bionic Arm. You lose your arm essentially, and it gets replaced by this Bionic Arm thing that's alive in itself. Spoilers, big spoilers of the first 10 minutes of the game. So you and somebody posted this polydepression, but this Japanese developers be like, and he posted a bunch of Bionic Arms, Zelda, Devil May Cry, God Hand, and of course Hi-Fi Rush on the Xbox by Tango Gameworks as well, which made me laugh. But then the chat, the commenters kept going, Scalebound. You have Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. I laughed when I saw this. This made me laugh so much. You got Snake from Metal Gear Solid, The Phantom Pain. You got Sonic in the new Sonic Frontiers going Bionic Arm. Sekiro, Game of the Year, Bionic Arm. You just have all of these guys. Ninja Gate, Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden with his demon hand. You have all sorts, and of course Bionic Commando going on that. So yeah, there you go. Bionic Arms. Japanese developers love them apparently, and we love them too. Not just Japanese developers. I think everybody loves the Japanese developers. I feel that the Bionic Arm is like a cop out. Like instead of carrying different devices and like stacking your character with 15 different pieces of technology, like, you know what? We're gonna cell phone this guy's arm. It's gonna carry everything. It's gonna be the army Swiss knife of it, and he's gonna play with it. That's how the game is gonna play. And it makes sense from a design standpoint that everything be contained in your Swiss knife arm. But my question to you guys is, who has been your favorite character with Bionic Arm and why? Like, who has had the best Bionic Arm in your opinion, and why? What made it the best? And who wants to take this one first? Terry or Dread?
I'll
ladies
go.
first.
I'll go. But first off, I just want to, put it out there. From the examples that they were shown, only half of those are bionic arms. The other half are magic. So
Bionic magic, it's the same thing.
All right. So if we're gonna skew what a bionic arm is, and we're gonna throw magic and everything else into the fray, then that allows me to do what I'm going to do. Okay, because it's not a true bionic arm. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Commander Shepard, because you have your device on your hand that gives you different power abilities. So if you're gonna skew what a bionic arm is, and this counts. so I'm gonna go that route. But for those of you who want a true bionic arm, then I'm gonna go Mega Man. Because that's actually a real bionic arm. It's actually got mechanical parts. So I'm gonna go Mega Man for real bionic arm. If we're gonna, change the definition of bionic arm, then Commander Shepard.
What if we don't change it?
No,
What if it's
she
actually
went Mega
bionic?
Man.
Yeah, Mega Man.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, all right. That's a fantastic choice. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Commander Shepard counts, because it's not like his arm got replaced or possessed.
It did. Remember the second
didn't get
game?
possessed.
The second game, he got completely rebuilt.
All right. They went full Frieza mode on him. All right. Dreadful, who do you got?
I've got the Bionic Commando. That was by far the best when we were playing in the arcades and home. So yeah, I'd love that. That's always, anytime I think of bionic arms, that would be where I go. That's the first thing I think of. I don't think of any of the other ones. I mean, even though Hi-Fi Rush is like one of the newest ones, I forgot that he had a bionic arm. You know what I mean?
And all it did was make a guitar that he used as a bat.
Yeah, so Bionic Commando for the win.
All right.
It was a grappling hook, man. It was a grappling hook.
That was the coolest thing about it.
That was awesome,
Why do you think I'm such a fan of Scorpion?
That's right. And it was Capcom, right? Bionic Commando?
Yeah, that was Capcom.
Yeah, there it is. See, look at that.
Back when Capcom made things other than Resident Evil.
This is the remake one. Yeah.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah. Okay. So for me, I am gonna go with Sekiro. The game of the year, and I loved Sekiro. His arm, he used it as a grappling hook. It had the little firecrackers on it that he could throw. It had all kinds of stuff on it, but I mostly used the firecrackers and the repelling arm. Oh, and it had the shield on it too. The shield, it would turn into a shield. I really loved the Sekiro gameplay, in that I guess it was a prosthetic, but it had a lot. So I'm gonna call it bionic. And it never explained how the prosthetic worked. It just, it had like a fishing reel here with a rope, and that's how you moved it, apparently. But I'm gonna go with Sekiro, because I think you needed to use it in all aspects of the game, to traverse, to fight bosses, everything. And to me, that's a true meaning of a bionic arm. I think I'm gonna go with Sekiro myself. Wolf, what was his name? Grey Wolf. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with him. Let's check in with the chat and see who they picked as their favorite bionic arm. Give that man a hand. He's talking about the guy with the tweet. That's right. Bionic Commando, the original. Let's see. I prefer Raiden from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. He has 2 bionic arms. Yeah. Doggy Dog agrees with CoolCatTerri. That's my choice too. Mega Man. And that's all we got so far from the chat. So far. So yeah, that was just a quick little fun topic I wanted to throw in there to lighten the mood and have a little laugh. But it's time to get serious, guys. Xbox has a content problem. And it's a problem mainly because they have a subscription service. And if you're not always and it's good that Xbox is licensing out stuff to their subscription service. It's a lot of indie games, but some AAA games, some new IPs, but no established IPs are coming to Xbox Game Pass or just Xbox console in general. And some established franchises are skipping Xbox in its entirety. And this is problematic, especially as an Xbox fan, because now I got to go somewhere to play those games. I have to buy another console. That's another $500 instead of buying a ROG Ally. I gotta buy a different console. That kind of sucks, But well, I'm gonna give examples of this. The last big money hat Xbox had was Rise of the Tomb Raider back in the day, 2014, 2015 timeframe. And they were crucified for it. I personally would have doubled down on it and made it normal, right? But when you think about games that Xbox money had, it didn't work out so well for them. Like Quantum Break. Everybody thinks Quantum Break is great, but it didn't work out. It didn't sell well. Facts are facts. It just didn't sell well. Sunset Overdrive, another game that a lot of people consider to be one of the best games of last generation, didn't sell well. Third-party deals have just not gone Xbox's way with things that are not their IP. Rise of the not right. What is it? The Roman game that everybody keeps talking about.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Yeah, there we go. Rise, Son of Rome. Fantastic looking game. I thought there was nothing wrong with it when I played it. It wasn't like a 10 out of 10, but it was good. And I think it could have been an IP that they could have put more money into and made even better. Like, I don't know, Rise, Son of Greece, Rise. There's lots of periods. Rise, Son of Pharaoh, whatever. The Rise series could have been a big thing.
Like basically like Assassin's Creed. You just jump between everywhere.
Yeah.
On the top. Yeah.
Rise of the 300.
Yeah, Sparta. Rise of Sparta.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been called something like Leonidas, Son of Sparta, or something like that. It could have been awesome. I think they really squandered that opportunity. But back to my point is, since Xbox got crucified with Tomb Raider, they have not really done third-party deals with IP that is not their own. Right? Ori was the last IP Xbox did with Moon Studios. Asobo did Flight Simulator, but again, those are Xbox's IPs, right? Nowadays you don't see anybody making games for Xbox to be exclusive of Xbox. You didn't see, I don't know, Gotham Knights exclusive to Xbox. You don't see Resident Evil exclusive to Xbox, any of that, right? But you do see Star Wars games being exclusive to the PlayStation. The remake is
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic remake. Thank you, Dreadpool. Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic being exclusive to PlayStation. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 16, obviously being exclusive to PlayStation. There's rumors now that Metal Gear Solid 3 is going to go exclusive to PlayStation. So Xbox, I think, needs to... Is it time that Xbox maybe gets the hate again and money had a game? Or should they keep their route where they buy entire studios? Because they did literally just money had it all of Bethesda. Let's be real here. Starfield is a money hat, a very, very expensive money hat. But so was Redfall and, Hi-Fi Rush, all those things. So it's not like Xbox isn't money hatting games, but the fact that they had to buy studios to get those exclusives. Is it time to add third-party studios and IPs that they don't buy to that exclusive lineup? And if so, which ones? Terry, let's start with you.
Okay, so this is tough because Xbox isn't really focused on exclusivity anymore. They have a few exclusives, like Halo and Forza, but in the end, they're not focused on doing exclusives anymore. They just want to broaden their ecosystem and have, try to have their stuff available, people able to play, wherever they want to, which makes sense why they want to buy more studios, so that way they can cheat it that way versus, just paying someone money to keep it on their platform. So I don't know. I feel like I like their model right now. where they're trying to own the properties, so that, instead of paying huge amounts of money just for one game, you know what I mean, to be exclusive. So I personally like them doing it that way. I think it's better for the long game, because like I said in the last show, we're gonna get to a point where the console will become obsolete. So exclusivity, it's not gonna have the same grip hold as it does on consoles once the console disappears. So owning all of the different proprieties is going to mean more in that route. But if they did go try to get some third parties, I really think they should try to go back and grab, let's say, like a Mass Effect, because the first one was exclusive and then it became all platforms. So I think that would be a good grab. And I feel they should try to get an more exclusive fighters, because they had crap, I forgot what it was called. Infinite crap. Jago's thing is named after it. What the heck was that fighter called? I can't remember.
Something
anymore.
Infinite?
I can't remember what it was, but yeah, the one with the wolf and
Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. Thank you.
I'm muted here, and I'm like, Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct.
I'm like, I knew it. I knew
That's
it.
how you move your head. Like, what's he doing?
So, like, you think fighters, primarily when you think fighters, you're going to be over on a different ecosystem other than Xbox.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
They don't. And so I think if they were going to go for exclusivity, they should tap into the fighter industry. Get something more than Killer Instinct. Try to get some of the big ones. Like I don't really want them to go after something like Street Fighter. Let Street Fighter stay where it is, but try to get something. Try to get some of the other ones that
Team
I feel.
Fighters.
Team of Fighters, but like I'm trying to remember the one. There's one specifically, the one that I have my mind on, and I've been struggling with thought today.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Is it like Virtual Fighter? Tekken?
No. Crap.
I'm leaving Street Fighter out of this because we already know. No.
Oh my gosh.
What do they look like?
The main guy wears red, and he has the gun flame like weapon thing.
Soul Calibur?
No, not Soul Calibur. He does like chain. Oh my gosh, it's a big one too, and I can't remember what the heck it's called. But bring that one over. It's got like a bajillion freaking games. It's got like over 20 games, just like Street Fighter does. It's been out for freaking ever, but I can't remember what the heck it's called. It'll come to me when the conversation.
King of Fighters?
It's not King of Fighters. It'll come to me when I can't.
I'm sure someone in the chat knows.
Hold on, I'm gonna look up fighter games real quick.
See.
All right, while Terry's gathering her thought, let's check.
I gotta gather my thoughts. Give me a second.
Yeah, all right, let's see. So we have some comments from the chat here.
Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive. I love Dead or Alive personally.
Oh, that was
Avalanche
great.
is making Contraband for Xbox and Stalker 2 from GSC. Okay, so Stalker 2 is a big exclusive, I think. And Avalanche, I think Contraband is owned by Xbox.
Guilty Gear. Got it.
Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear.
That was like the first one I went in my head, and I just
Guilty
like
Gear.
blew over it.
Like I think they should bring Guilty Gear over, because that's something. It's a huge name, but it's not going to peeve people off as much as, let's say, like a Street Fighter, because Street Fighter has always been more, on that side. So that, don't do that. But Guilty Gear, I think, would be, or Tekken even, like, make those. I think those would be a great grab for exclusivity on the Xbox side. So bring those over there, and try to build up more on that, because the fighter scene is so limited when it comes to Xbox, because you have, like, outside of playing Killer Instinct, I mean, you get Mortal Kombat, but that's everywhere, so like they don't really have anything. Right.
All right. Well, there you go. Terry wants more fighters. Doggy Dog would love you. Doggy loves his fighters.
Yeah.
So let's check in with the chat before we get into Dreadpool's thoughts, just so it doesn't escape me. Red Monkey Butt says Avalanche is making Contraband for Xbox and Stalker 2 from GSC. And I know Contraband is an Xbox IP only owned. They're just contracted out, I believe. and
Yeah,
Stalker
so
2
bad.
is its own thing, I believe. But so yeah. Fastback says exclusives don't always have to be AAA. I see no problem. They don't always have to be AAA, but AAA is what makes
selling point.
it what sells. It's what drives people to your ecosystem. Especially those single player narrative AAA games. Yeah, but I disagree with Phil when he said great exclusives don't want to make people buy an Xbox because of a lot of people still it would. You know, Phil is not in the business of out console selling the competition. He's in the business of getting monthly active users wherever they are. So
It's not
he's
just
not
that.
lying when he said it. People just misconstrued it.
I really want to chime in on that. I really do.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I'll let you go first real quick because my thing will
Okay.
be a little bit longer.
It's not just that. They're in the business of making money, and ROI is definitely there for the online portion when it comes to Game Pass because it opens up wallets. It opens it up because I'm already playing this game. I can buy the expansion. I can afford this. I can afford that.
Mhm.
It
did
opens
exactly
it up
that.
more. Consoles, once you buy a console and there's nothing else to do but buy one game, you know, you got to think of the standard of you're buying a game that comes with it or you're buying the game a game that you want and you're limited to that. So when it comes to that, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But when you're looking at the ROI on that, the broad spectrum that you can play these games anywhere, it opens it up. So I don't think that's why, you know, it's not because they're not trying to out console them because they're never going to hit those numbers that anybody else has. And we're also in the era where everything's digital, right? I know there's still some diehards out there that want their hard copies of whatever, which they're just keys now. They're useless artifacts. So, you know, Phil even said Xbox One was the era we did not need to lose, and they lost it. So, getting an exclusive is not going to make somebody buy something. So why not get them over into the ecosystem where you're more likely to buy something that way, regardless of console or handheld or anything else if you're playing on PC. At least you're in the ecosystem and you're still paying the your revenue that's going to keep on reoccurring, right? So when you have that happening and you have more likely of an open wallet to purchase something, I think it's a double-edged sword when it comes to that. You know, yeah, the numbers on console look bad, but overall they're making money. They're making more money than they were before.
They had the
Even
most
with
profitable quarter just now.
yeah. So, you know, those numbers are just it's
The
just
console warrior
flashy.
numbers.
It's just flashy numbers. That's it. You know, you flash out that you have a higher demographic here, but in truth you don't, because how many people have look at PlayStation 4. We know many gamers that have bought multiple consoles because they bought the next exclusive console for this, you know, the Spider-Man console, the Darth Vader console for Star Wars, you know what I mean? The God of War console, you know, and this is just the PS4 era. So many of those gamers have bought 3 to 4, maybe even up to 6 consoles, but they're only playing it on one console. Each other one has been traded in. So, and even Sony is no longer officially internally counting consoles. They use that as a number to obviously enhance themselves to look better, which are same thing that the console warriors are doing. But Xbox is also said, look, we're never going to hit these numbers. The only way we see it is we're going to do this other metric. Well, guess what? Engagement, right? Player engagement is the numbers. Sony's doing the same thing, but Sony doesn't advertise that. They advertise the higher number that they have, which any company would do. You want to advertise what number looks good for you. You know, Cliffy B, why did he go to Sony? They had the higher number count. He lost out on that bet, and everybody said you should have went to Xbox because Xbox is this type of gamer where PlayStation isn't. He lost out on that bet because he looked at the wrong numbers. He should have.
Even he said it was part of a mistake. He made a mistake.
He made the biggest mistake right there. Was that, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, he should have thought about it and asked for the proper numbers on user engagement.
Mhm.
And done better research. He just didn't do the research like he should have, and it bit him in the keister.
There
I
you
know
go.
we can't cuss.
No, you can't. I prefer you not to.
Yeah.
Terry, what do you think?
Okay, so
Diego's comment.
so he says that he disagrees because Phil said that a great exclusive isn't going to make someone buy an Xbox. Okay, for me, I agree with Phil because for me, I have not ever purchased a console based on the exclusives that are available within that ecosystem. Not once. For me, I am primarily a third-party gamer. When it comes to exclusives, whether you want to look at Xbox or PlayStation or even Nintendo, majority of their exclusives I don't give a darn about. Like, I'm not going to play them. I'm not a fan. I don't like Halo. I don't like Forza. I don't like the new God of War. Okay. I don't like what they did with Spider-Man. So they're not going to sell me on exclusives. All right. So for me, I'm going to be like the majority of gamers. When you're already part of an ecosystem that you have a preference towards, you're going to continue to buy in that ecosystem regardless of what exclusives they have. The exclusives they have is just a little cherry on top, being like, okay, well, I also have the ability to play these games. My dog is choking, but she does that. She's choking on air. The chihuahuas.
Look it in.
But when you look there now, I'm not saying no one does this, okay? There are definitely gamers out there who will go and buy a console based on one or two exclusives. There are definitely people who do that, but they are the minority when you look at the broad scale of gamers out there. Very few do that, all right? Like, I have a friend who bought a Xbox because of Gears of War. That was the only reason why they bought it. He is the minority. He's like the 1% of gamers that would do that, okay? People aren't going to go and buy and spend $800 on a console for one game. People don't do that. Okay, so I agree with Phil that people are not going to jump ship for an exclusive. They're not. They're going to, look at the broad spectrum of what they have available to them outside of that. That's just a bonus. All right, so that's my take on that. Because
Yep.
Yeah.
That's part of that thing with the digital library. If you've already built up a library, why do you think that people stay on Android versus iPhone or iPhone versus Android? It's the same difference. You've built up that library, and they've both tried to do different things to get you to convert over and still manage to keep that librry and come over to their service.
At
Once
least
you lock into that ecosystem, it's harder to get out.
The library, though, becomes a little bit more tricky with other platforms, though, because they don't like to do backwards compatibility a lot of the times like Xbox does. So it does make it more difficult, and you might have to pay more money to have access to your old library on other platforms. But, but still, it's one of those things where you already have a loyalty to a brand.
Yes.
Yeah. The biggest reason I love my Xbox is because of the digital library. I am a physical game collector, but I like collecting collector's editions. If I don't get a collector's edition, I'm okay with getting a digital version, right? Mainly because I like the art books, I like the statues, I like all that stuff, right? But the digital library on Xbox is superior to everyone else, and I'm going to use Nintendo because it's the most obvious, but you can put this to PlayStation as well. When the Nintendo eShop for the 3DS or the Wii U shuts down, those games are gone. They didn't migrate to the Nintendo Switch eShop. They aren't still available on the Nintendo Switch eShop. They are gone. Yeah, you can still download them if you own them, but the ability to purchase them is lost forever. You don't ever hear that on Xbox. I can still buy games from the OG Xbox Arcade on my Xbox Series X. And not enough credit has been given to Xbox for future-proofing from the beginning. And to me as a gamer, especially a long lifetime gamer, I've been gaming now for 30 years out of my life. There's a lot of memories on there, a lot of games that I still fire up. Just the other day, I fired up Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Just the other day. How old is that game? Nintendo 64?
Mm-hmm.
But I played it on my Xbox because it's there. I could still get it. And it was on Games with Gold again. So, you know, it's one of those things that Xbox just doesn't get enough credit for. So when I go into GameStop, when a new generation of consoles launches, I will always pick Xbox. One, because I love Halo, but I love their exclusives, but also because I'm anchored in. You know, when Phil said that the Xbox One generation was the most important generation because of the digital libraries, he meant it. And I agree with him. I'm going to get an Xbox because I love the exclusives and I am digitally bought in. I'm not giving that up. You know, the era of, man, I'm going to go from a Nintendo to a Super Nintendo and it's a hard reset is over. Those days are long gone and people need to understand that. Now, to kind of go against Phil on his second point, you know, that great exclusives won't make people buy an Xbox. I disagree with that because I have a Nintendo Switch for the great exclusives. You know, I have a Nintendo Switch for this game here, right? And the other great games it has, but they released this game and it just makes me so happy that I have a Nintendo Switch and I bought into it. And if I didn't, I would buy it to play it. I have a PlayStation for God of War and Final Fantasy because they money had it. You know, Final Fantasy, they money had it. Final Fantasy. So I think great games do move consoles or do make other people want to buy a secondary console. It might not be their primary. Like I said, when I walk into GameStop on launch day and you gave me all three choices, I'm always going to choose Xbox. But as the years go by and I'm able to save some more money and more games get released that are exclusive that interest me, I will eventually buy the other consoles. You know, I'm not one of those guys that can buy everything all at once, but you know, every few years I can spoil myself. So yeah, I agree and disagree with. I understand what Phil said in the context he said it, but I disagree with him saying that it won't move consoles or won't move people to the ecosystem because it will. It will 100% move. Great games will move people to the ecosystem.
Well, I think it'll move them enough to get into it, but not enough to support it. And
well, like you said,
that's part of
it's like
that,
I said, you know,
that's that catch-22. You know,
yeah,
it's enough to get them over there. Eventually, I mean, at the same time, there was a lot of 360 fans that shifted over to PlayStation 4. You know why?
Because it's games.
No, part of it, I still hear it now, and part of it was because they Xbox was charging you a fee to play online, where PlayStation
That's
3
right.
was not, and
That's
that's
right. I
why they
remember
didn't
that.
buy into
PlayStation
Xbox
Online
One.
used to be free.
And you know, there's many other things. Okay, that's not the only thing, but that was one of the things that one of my friends, or a few of my friends, went to PlayStation 4, and they're like, "This is BS," because I shifted over this way. Had I not done that, I would have just stayed over on the Xbox One side and stayed there because they liked the way Xbox was doing things. They just didn't want the paid for the online. They thought it was ridiculous, but now they were stuck with it.
Mhm.
You know, so they had to go a few years before they can go back and come back to the Xbox and purchase that. But again, the Xbox One was a total debacle. You know,
It
everything
was a great
more
console. I thought it was
expensive,
an amazing
forced.
console.
Oh, I loved it,
Yeah,
and I
but
still, you know,
it got
as
more
someone
hate
that,
than it deserved.
yes, but as someone that loves Connect, I also questioned, why did they force that upon people? Why did they, you know?
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, you can't play this without the Connect." Well, guess what? Yes, you can, because we don't have it now. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things that if they left it as an option, it would have done better.
Mhm.
It would have been cheaper, or at least the same price. You know, and going back and forth like that. Those things there, you know, made a big difference. So exclusives are not the only thing that makes a difference. It's what you force people into. And
Mhm.
people were forced into a Connect that they didn't want, and they were forced into an extra $100 that they didn't want. PlayStation was going to do the same thing, but they saw what happened and they took it out. They literally had the same price, the same thing with their iToy, whatever you want to call it.
Game Eye, yeah.
Yeah, Game Eye. So they were going to do that anyway. But had they done that first, Xbox, I don't think would have learned the lesson and did the same thing that Sony did and just backed out and changed their plan last minute. I don't, Sony was just quicker to adapt, where Xbox needs to learn how to adapt. And exclusive or not, it's not enough to adapt.
Right.
I wanna put in that when we look at the difference between, again, this is generational, because gamers our age, we're not going to have a loyalty like the younger generation of gamers do, in the sense that growing up we jumped ship often because we had Nintendo was the primary. Then we may have jumped over to Sega. Sega disappeared. Then all of a sudden PlayStation, Xbox became a thing. So we picked one. And now, most of us tend to just kind of have all of them because we're already used to being everywhere.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Whereas kids today, their parents are going to buy them their first console. And I'm going to exclude Nintendo because most people don't really get into Nintendo into adulthood. We do because that was our first console for a lot of us. Kids today, they're going to either get an Xbox or a PlayStation as their first console. They're going to get introduced to that ecosystem. They're going to make friends in that ecosystem. And then they're going to continue to stay in whichever ecosystem into adulthood most of the time. Or they're going to get whatever their first console is. Majority of their friends in school are going to be on the opposite. And then they're going to ask to get the next one. And then they're going to stay in that ecosystem into adulthood. They're going to go where their friends are. It's going to be different. It's not like us. They're pretty much going to be introduced to one and they're going to stay there.
Especially because of that digital library.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, we're restarting each generation. So upon the restart, we were looking at which one had the best games. And that's where we went with what we were interested in. And that's why we stuck with that, and then eventually as we got older, we were able to get more consoles within time, whether it was birthdays, Christmases, or purchasing it on our own as we got older. And now we're old enough where we can buy everything. If we want to buy the ROG Ally, which the wife just left a little bit ago, maybe she's not paying attention anymore.
Run to Best Buy. Go to Dairy Queen.
Yes. Yes, I'll get that expensive hot fudge sundae with caramel on top too. But yeah, it's just with today's, we've seen Xbox families where the kids are buying PlayStation because that's where their friends are. We see
my
that
signal just went crazy.
No, you're still here. You're good.
Okay.
But we still see that we've seen siblings where one goes one direction, the other one goes the other direction. So it is what it is. But why did we buy these games too? When once we got online, why did we buy them? Because that's where our friends were. We were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to get? What are we going to get? Well, this has this, and we would debate amongst ourselves as to which way we would go. Yes, exclusives matter, but they don't matter as much as they used to.
Right, not as much as Call of Duty does now.
Yeah, you're going to go where your friends are, and with Call of Duty being, and Fortnite being like the biggest games that kids today play, and Minecraft, they can literally play that anywhere, and I think every single one of them are cross-play, so it doesn't even matter what system they have. So they don't care.
And that's the beauty of it, because now with cross-play, you can be anywhere and play with anybody. You don't have to be locked down, and that's why it's been important to basically demand crossplay on every game that we can get. That's third party.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think we're living in the golden age of gaming. Personally,
it won't be until they get older and they start getting sucked into that console war nonsense, and then they're gonna start, being like, I have to have this console. And that's when you start seeing the videos at Christmas of them throwing tantrums because they didn't get their preferred choice. When in reality, they can still play COD on the one they got, But yeah, no, they'll get tainted when they get older.
They're so young and innocent right now. Let's check in with the chat. Hey, shout out to Jacob Coogan for derailing the crap out of the conversation. But still love it. This is why I love reading the chat, because you never know where it's going to go. So let's get back to it. So Terry had talked about some fighting games that she wants. Xbox to Money Hat. Lamarcus Doss, shout out to Lamarcus Doss. Thank you so much for joining us. He says Sony owns Evo. Xbox will never get a fighter over PlayStation. They own Killer Instinct, and
They own Evo, but okay. Yes, they own the competition, but they don't own the companies that make those games. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they own the
Competitive.
Xbox.
Yeah,
If
so they
ABK goes through, Xbox is going to own BlizzCon. They
yeah.
already own QuakeCon. All those other things, but it's a convention and it's a tournament
Because
and stuff like that.
a lot of these fighters are on multiple platforms,
Mhm.
like Shonen Jump games. You can get those anywhere. All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it doesn't really, it's not a really good comparison because, they, like, for example, they don't own Capcom. Capcom could decide to put their, Street Fighter somewhere else. They probably never would. But I'm just saying, if something happened and Capcom had a falling out, let's say they have a new head of Sony or PlayStation, and the new head of Capcom, they end up hating each other, and they have a falling out, things could change. But right now they have a really good relationship, so I don't see that happening. But 20 years from now, they could have a falling out. We don't know what's going to happen. But
let's just say Xbox buys Capcom.
Yeah,
Let that
happen.
or that could happen.
Like Sony buys Capcom,
I mean,
whatever.
people have been pushing for that to be the next purchase after all this.
I still prefer Sega.
I mean, right now,
I would say that
Capcom
too.
prefers PlayStation because they have a really good work relationship. But work relationships change, because they're always going to have change in leadership. And at some point, they may be there may be some butting heads, and then they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to start putting our stuff elsewhere. We're not going to put you guys first anymore. Things can change.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Sony, Capcom probably would have had to go bankrupt.
Right. PlayStation will get their third-party exclusives, and Xbox will get theirs. It's always been that way. Yeah, but I feel that PlayStation gets more high-profile exclusives. At least that's the way it seems. And that's what this conversation is about, is those high profiles, But that's what we're aiming at, is high profile. Let's see what else. Let's see. They should just get Grand Theft Auto exclusive for 2 years. That would be massive. Massive.
That would be huge.
That would move Xbox consoles for sure.
Or just get Mafia. Mafia is a fantastic franchise, very similar to GTA. Definitely not as popular as GTA, but come on.
To sell consoles here, Terry.
Okay, but Mafia would be a great addition to for Xbox. I love Mafia.
It's a great backup in case you can't get GTA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nick says console growth and market share is vital to third-party publishers putting games on that platform and that have zero interest in a sub-service. That could be true. Maybe the reason a lot of Japanese developers skip Xbox is because they don't want Game Pass. That could be true. And shout out to Lost Boomer. He joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Lost Boomer. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and share it out. It really helps us get discovered. We would appreciate it. Let's see. I've seen quite a few people on Twitter say they're buying a PS5 for Castlevania exclusive. I remember Castlevania Symphony of the Night back in the Saturn and PS1 days. The Japanese Saturn got Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and the US Saturn did not. And I was very upset about that.
I would also...
It did upset me. So third-party exclusives matter, and Sony knows it. And Xbox needs to get with it.
I would also like to see a poll. Whenever you see someone saying that they're buying a console because of this exclusive, I mean, that's partly true. I mean, like I said, there are the gamers who absolutely do that, but there's very few of them in comparison. I honestly feel that if you were to look at them, they're saying, oh, I'm buying the PS5 because, I want to play that new God of War. They're not, I feel like they're being dishonest about, yes, you want to get the PS5 because the new God of War, but that means you probably already had the PS4 and you played the first one, so you're already integrated in that ecosystem, so you're going to buy it anyway. You're just, you're saying you're getting it for this reason, but that's not really true. You were going to probably get it anyway. You're just saying it that way. That's wordplay.
Yeah, wordplay. So, Keo Walker, or Cheo Walker. Again, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry.
I think it's Keo.
Keo?
I think it's Keo.
All right, Keo Walker. We're going to go with Keo. Keo Walker says, you don't need an Xbox console to play Xbox exclusive, so it's not a major reason to buy a console, or if you are on another console. And that's the beauty of Xbox is the Play Anywhere initiative. I love it. I love the fact that you can play Xbox games on computer, on your phone, or on Xbox. And I think the competition is coming around. It's going to be that way for everybody. Because let me tell you, if I could pay $15 a month and get PlayStation Plus on the cloud on my phone, I would have. Just flat out, I would have, instead of buying a PS5. And I would have played God of War that way. Just throwing it out there. It's an option. All right, so we did a poll, Terry, and I know you haven't gotten your thoughts out yet. Dreadpool, we'll get back to you. Terry, what did people say on the poll?
Which third-party model do you prefer? 70% said that you prefer to play it day one on Game Pass over the 29% that said you want an Xbox exclusive.
There you go.
So Phil is doing it his way and it's working.
That's
Clearly.
right, it is. And I will expand more on that when I talk about it. Dreadpool, Xbox needs to lock. Do they need to lock up more big third-party exclusives? Remember, they got crucified with Tomb Raider. Do they need to lock up a big name? And which big names would you have them lock up?
I don't think they need to, but I think it would be a good benefit to do some of that. You know, I mean, they want to be a well-rounded company when it comes to games, and they might have to be a well-rounded company when it comes to marketing exclusives. You don't have to get every single thing like Sony does to lock it down and keep it away from Game Pass or keep it away from Xbox. You know, so they don't need to do, hey, you know, let's keep this away from Sony, but let's have the deal where we have it first, like they did with Tomb Raider, and just make sure they have bigger bodyguards to protect the fanboys from coming up there. And when it comes to fanboys, I mean the media, because they were like the biggest fanboys freaking out over something so simple that something, you know, Sony does anyway. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yep.
You know, and they need to do better at providing that. And I don't think even exclusives would force people to buy a console, especially with the Play Anywhere incentive. When you can play it on your PC, or you can play it on your handheld or your phone, or even the new whatever box that's going to be. We've talked about that many times before. There would be like a small little Roku box that would be just a streaming box.
Yeah.
So whatever that entails in the future, that's fine. But I think most importantly would be that these games utilize as much of the technology that is put into the Xbox consoles, because there's a slight difference when it comes to CPU power between the Xbox Series S and the X. Slight difference, right?
Very
when it
slight.
comes to power. So it's just the graphical side of it, because you don't have as much memory to do the graphics. So you could get a higher FPS on certain games if you lower the resolution per se for the Series S. Now, when it comes to that, let's look at some games that could, I don't know, bring somebody over, right? Because we talked about God of War. If someone's going to be playing God of War, they're going to be stuck in that ecosystem anyway. They're buying Ragnarok. They're going to buy the next Horizon Forbidden West, you know, and so forth. I mean, it's already proven example. So when you look at it, what's probably the perfect game that needs to come back and would be great to be an exclusive? I don't know.
Banjo.
Banjo is already an Xbox thing, but we're talking about third party, right?
Right.
So third party exclusive would be
Need for Speed. Give me my Need for Speed. Only on Xbox.
But I think Splinter Cell would be the perfect one to bring back. You know, bring back Sam Fisher, and do it right. Even if it's a redo of the first one, just give us something more. Utilize the technology that they have in these consoles. That's the biggest thing. Any exclusive needs to utilize the most of the tools that they can offer out of it. Milk that thing out. Get it so you're actually trying to milk out each ounce of power out of there. They're not even doing the basics, so natively, oh, great. This game is native, but it's not optimized. Get those games optimized. Use the tools. I mean, we're talking about games that are almost, well, I guess there are some right now that are over 200 gigs. Use the tools to downsample or technically upsample low resolution, right? So let's fit more game being compressed and then let the machine up-res it to where it should be. And then that way your Series S isn't, I don't know, you put one game on there and you're screwed because you can't do anything else. Let's get that before we worry about next gen consoles. Let's focus in on this, and get these games there. And that's why Splinter Cell would be a good one. Fighting games would be great. Something again to appease the masses. Even the smaller demographics are a huge deal. They can change the narrative of the games that we're playing. So whether it's an indie game, whether it's something that's no longer viable, I mean, side scrollers are still a great thing to play. If you get a good side scroller, you can do something. I mean, look how simplistic Vampire Survivors is.
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine
look
if
at
that was Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, and if they would have done that, you would have PC players, cell phone players, console players, and even your handheld going that way. You get them in the ecosystem. Eventually, I think part of the theory is if you can get them into the ecosystem, if they're playing on their TV, if they're playing on a phone, if they're playing on a handheld, because that's the way they got into it, eventually that will incentivize them to go ahead and play at the best place that they can play, and that would be a console. And I think that's why certain things like that would happen. Getting them in there, knowing that they like these games, get them, and then they would shift over. So there's many games that we could say that would be third party that would be great. I know we talked about GTA, which definitely is a huge one. But you also got to find something that would be worth the value that you're putting into, because getting GTA is going to be a lot of money. That's why
it would be worth it.
Would it?
I think it would. I mean, GTA is
GPA,
a massive franchise.
That's
massive.
a monster.
Well,
I mean, that's like
much
Sony mainly having Spider-Man and Wolverine. I mean, Spider-Man is Marvel's biggest IP, and they money had it.
Yeah, they money had it, but it was also cheaper at the time. Now it's more expensive.
Yeah.
So if they were to get it now versus then, it's a difference.
But
You're looking at something that they've already established, and they're going to keep going with it.
That would be like someone trying to buy, let's say, like Fortnite now. Like I feel like it's so
it's
big.
Too big.
It's
too big. You couldn't do it. Okay, let's put that as a prime example. If Xbox were to money hat Fortnite, how much would they spend? Would they even get that in return? And on top of that, would you say you can't play this on PlayStation without paying a premium fee to play online? Which we know Fortnite's free everywhere. So, money hatting something like that, what's your ROI? That's the biggest thing. Your return on investment.
You want to talk about it's expensive and stuff, but I mean, they are essentially money hatting Activision Blizzard for Call of Duty and King. Right?
Mostly King,
right?
They've already paid themselves back for what they would have money hatted that. What they're already doing, they've already paid themselves back.
They would have already.
Months.
Oh yeah, no.
In 3
Microsoft
months,
is not.
So it's nothing.
Strapped, right?
Yeah.
Like
so it's
they got bands on top of bands.
But you're looking at the ROI. That's the thing that you got to keep remembering. The ROI is the biggest thing, because if you're going to put this investment in there, what is your return? You have to get that back. Minecraft was like a fluke. They never expected to get that kind of ROI. And now you've got 2 expansions on this. Not only are you multiplat because you were forced to, and that was a bad deal. Oh my God, no, it was a bad deal. No, now look at it. Now they're saying, hey, look, this is a prime example why we don't take Call of Duty off of PlayStation. This is a prime example why we want to push it out to these other streaming services. This is a prime example why we're going to say Switch, Nintendo, we're going to put it on your Switch there. we're going to do this because the return on investment is too big to lose out on this, for them to keep it away.
Let's talk about the ROI, right? The ROI, a lot of people think it's $69 billion, and that's not it. Microsoft, as Dreadpool said, they've already made that money back. They're ready to spend another $69 billion, right?
They're ready to spend another 100.
Yeah. The ROI is users, right? So when you're looking at an ROI, it's how many people are going to get into I think they call it the Microsoft Gaming Division, and Xbox falls under the Microsoft Gaming Division.
Yes.
Right. And so the ROI is how many people are going to come to the Microsoft Gaming Division, how many users. There are 3 billion gamers, and we have, I don't know, I think last number was something like 120 million users, right? And that number is years old, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that's an old number.
So 3 billion gamers that are gaming on something, their phone, their computers, their consoles, and we only have 100. We don't even have 10% of those users, right? How much money is it going to take? What is the cost of acquisition, the cost of new customer? What is all this? What is all that, right? And they're making it very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're making it very attractive to become an Xbox user. The price of Game Pass is fantastic. You add day one first party. That's a hell of a deal as a new user, right? And then they add Call of Duty, the world's #1 multiplayer game. Call of Duty Mobile is also a thing. Hint, hint, wink, wink, right? So yeah, and Diablo 4 is coming out, and that thing's gonna sell. So yeah, Xbox is very much. It's not money, and this is the part that people need to get out of it. I don't think Xbox ever anticipated to make $69 billion back in a year or in 5 years, right? They have their cash flows somewhere else. This is an investment territory where you're not making money, where you're spending money. Xbox is profitable as a division, but it's also probably one of the most expensive divisions to invest into, and they're spending into it. And I'm very happy they are. Trust me, as an Xbox lifelong fan, I'm glad that they're finally acting like the juggernaut they are. Right? That 69 billion is a huge confidence booster for me. But it's just that ROI has to be users. It cannot be money. It has to be users.
That's more than just users, but it's still, that's one of the basis on it, because you're talking about active users, which is potential money. You're talking about services, which is also money. So you're talking about year over year, what's guaranteed to come in as long as the service is there. Yeah. So when you're projecting that stuff, you have to think more than just one aspect. You got to remember, the Microsoft gaming portion of it, which includes Xbox, Bethesda, and hopefully soon to be active ABK. It's a small portion of it. It's like actually 5%. Bigger. It's actually bigger than other divisions that they have now. It's grown so much that this is why they said, let's go for the ABK deal. Even though they came at them and asked them, hey, you want to buy us? They looked at the numbers that they had, and they're growing. And this would be a huge growth burst, and you talk about the library, the IPs, all that stuff.
So
everything
would Xbox
counts.
Grow faster, keep buying, or money having something like, and I'm going to go with Grand Theft Auto because that's to me like the next big game outside of Final Fantasy the money hat. Would they gain more buying publishers, or would they gain more money having GTA?
Well, why money had GTA? Why not just buy Rockstar?
Take-Two, yeah,
right. I mean, seriously, that's kind of the catch. They could spend more money, buy the publisher, buy the devs, and be done with it. Right. And then everything that they do, all the devs do, is strictly for Xbox. And then that way they can say, look, it doesn't matter if it's exclusive or not, but guess what? We're still going to make the money. It's the same principle of the COD, right? if I take it away, I lose more money. If I leave it there and spread it out because it's such a popular title,
Mhm.
I make more money. So
Yeah.
do I cut my nose to spite my face, or what do I do? You know, some of it just makes more sense. You know, when you think of it in the greedy aspect, you know, as a fanboy, yeah, this is BS. You shouldn't be doing this. But when you think of it in the money greed, which one is your ROI better?
Mhm.
You know, so you can money hat something, but what's the deal there? You know, because okay, so we got the marketing rights on this for a year, for 2 years. Okay, that's great. Is it going to make people buy into your ecosystem?
Mhm.
Depending on how your markets the marketing, right? Because sometimes, you know, PlayStation is really good at marketing. You know, only here,
Yeah.
only you know, only what was it Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, exclusive in small print hat, right?
Exclusive hat.
It
That's
was
right. That's
exclusive
right. Exclusive
hat.
horse. It was a horse. Yeah.
Was it a horse? Whatever, but it was
Whatever it
still,
was. Yeah.
you know, and people misunderstood it. So deceptive practices make a big difference, and that's where Sony is great at. You know, and Microsoft and Xbox are trying not to be deceptive with what they do. They try to be just transparent, which is kind of a fault of their own. So you're looking at a catch-22. How do they approach it and still be 100% transparent to the fans, transparent to the communities?
Mhm.
You know, you could be deceptive like Sony has been and say that this game is only here because of this exclusive, and it's only a hat or a gun or
Yeah. Or
something stupid.
the
That
Hogwarts exclusive mission.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you look at Call of Duty last year, you know, exclusive map or mode or something like that, and then by the time it's not exclusive and it's open to everybody, everybody's already moved on to the next game.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
And you know, playing that mode, really, I tried it out. I didn't find anything special about it, but
Does it
because
need to be, man? It's all about talking points.
right, and that was the thing is, hey, we have something you don't have, and it wasn't really all that special to be bragging about, but they could, and that's the fanboy narratives that you know, people need to stop listening into. But
And the media narrative.
unfortunately, that's the thing is all those narratives, no matter which way they come from,
Mhm.
if you don't have it, you don't know. You know,
Right.
we didn't know unless you bought into the PlayStation. You know, and
Great point, Dreadpool.
there's so many aspects, but ROI is the biggest thing that you have to figure out.
Right. All right. So let's check it with the chat before I lose a lot of chat again. Here we go. To be clear, I will buy an Xbox as long as they make them. Also, it's pronounced Cheo. There you go.
Oh,
Cheo.
we were both wrong. I'm
We're
so
both wrong.
sorry. Cheo.
Cheo. There we go.
I'll
Now
have
we
to
know.
remember that. Great. Thank you for clearing that up, Cheo.
Yeah. Let's see. Nick says, selfishly, I would like to see Splinter Cell, Max Payne, and Lost Planet 2. Max Payne would be awesome,
Oh yeah.
in my opinion.
I want
having
Medal of Honor to
Capcom
come back.
Square- What?
That would
Medal
be
of
good.
Honor. I want Medal of Honor to come back.
Oh man. I don't think it ever will, but that's a good. I used to love Medal of Honor, by the way, but I don't think it's coming back. Having Capcom Square and Square struggled selling their games by only being on PlayStation. I know Street Fighter V wasn't as good as it needed to be, and obviously Square, you know, who failed to meet expectations, their famous lines, you know. So yeah. John 079 says Gears was the reason I bought an Xbox 360, and at the time, Gears was a third-party exclusive. Keep that in
Yes.
mind, right? Mass
It
Effect
was.
used to be a third-party exclusive. It moved 360s. Let's see. Fastback says exclusives help sell consoles and subscriptions, but they are nothing compared to Call of Duty and other games as a service games. Sony is working to bring more games as a service games. You know, Destiny, they got that. You know, it's not exclusive, but you can bet it's only marketed to PlayStation from here on out.
And Bungie does have a game that Xbox decided not to invest in, that Sony didn't decide to invest in, and that's why they purchased them. That's why they made the agreements that they made with them, because this next game, according to Sony, will be the next latest and greatest gas game that Bungie's developing for. So again, it's a gamble on return on investment.
It's also kind of funny too because majority of Destiny players are on PC and then followed by PlayStation. When it comes to the console, PlayStation has majority of the Destiny players. But it's funny because Sony always put in a lot of money for exclusive things within the game. For Destiny, you can get exclusive, like when the DLC would come out, they have something within in-game that where it'd be on PlayStation first or only on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then Bungie said, you know what, we're not playing that game anymore. We're not doing that. We want everybody to have everything at the same time. And then Sony buys Bungie.
You were saying Bungie?
You were saying you're not going to give us exclusive stuff?
They overpaid just to keep the developers on, so that way they wouldn't bail ship. And then just recently they let a whole bunch of people go.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that.
There's a lot of layoffs all around in the gaming space right now.
but I was gonna say it's all over the place. It's not just one, but it's just funny how that part of it.
Donovan Cunningham says Microsoft doesn't need to pay for exclusivity. They only need to pay for the marketing rights and do like Sony does.
Right,
Give the
right
impression that Xbox is the only place you can get it. That's right.
Mhm.
And don't talk to the media. If the media asks questions, never answer it. Like that's I would put it in the contract just as hard as Sony does. You are not allowed to answer any questions in regarding to this deal. Period. Like when Final Fantasy VII deal came out, is it only exclusive for a year? Is it 6 months? Nobody knew. We still don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Only in court documents has it come out, but no PlayStation didn't talk about it, and Square Enix didn't talk about it. That's the thing with Tomb Raider as well. When they came exclusive to Xbox, that's it. It's exclusive. It's exclusive. How long is it exclusive? If you want it, you got to get an Xbox. Like seriously, get hardcore with these guys, and especially the biased media. I know that the media is only doing their job, but when they get the answer, they tend to bash Xbox. That's all I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
and it seems biased to me.
but that's
I agree
part of
with
No,
them.
I agree with that too. I just think that's part of the whole issue with deceptive practices and being transparent. How are you transparent and yet pull these deceptive practices?
Right. And Donovan Cunningham continues, marketing is so much cheaper than paying for exclusivity.
Well, it depends on the marketing. I mean, if you're going to go the Spider-Man route, put them on trains and buildings and everything else, and I think you're probably paying more in marketing.
Yeah. And Fastback says Xbox should get marketing rights to GTA 6, which would be at least 10 years. Yeah. Agreed. All right. Terry, we did a poll in the chat. Let us know how the chat voted.
All right. Would locking down big third-party exclusives convince more gamers to buy into Xbox? 60% said yes. 40% said that they do not know, and no one said no. So it's majority vote says yeah. The third-party exclusive will definitely help out with getting more people to buy an Xbox.
There you go. So my thoughts on this: does Xbox need big third-party exclusives? A year ago, I would have told you absolutely, especially 2022. They should have locked something down just in case, because yeah, they released Grounded and they released Pentiment, but let's be honest, Grounded was in beta. They shouldn't. I think the early access games don't do themselves any favor other than to help developers, because once Grounded went 1.0, it's not like it all of a sudden created more downloads. If you were interested in Grounded, you would have been on the beta. What is it? Game preview. That's what it was. They
did get a spike once it was officially released. They did get a spike. Not much, but there was a spike there.
And I think that's how it hurts them, though, because a lot of people jump on the preview right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the game is still, being developed, people already kind of get like, okay, there's too many problems. So they already get kind of scorned and they jump off.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have people who see the potential and they keep at it. But for the most part, I feel like everyone plays it while it's in preview. They treat that as the release, and then they move on.
Exactly. Yeah. And Jago Coogan is making my point here. Grounded and Pentiment didn't move the needle for most gamers. Absolutely. Now, that's not to say we didn't have anything to play on Xbox, especially if you're a Game Pass subscriber. We had a lot of good stuff. We ate good. I had my Xbox on almost every day last year. So I'm not saying that I didn't have anything to play. I'm only talking about the optics of what happened to Xbox, right? And the fact that we're getting tired of waiting. I mean, How long are we going to be waiting? Wait till next year. Wait till next year. Wait till next year. Oh, here's a release date and delayed. Here's another release date announced way in advance and delayed, right? And it's happened over and over again. So Xbox needs to fill in the voids with third-party exclusives, especially in a year like 2022. And so far, Hi-Fi Rush has been the saving grace of 2023. Shout out to Hi-Fi Rush. It's a fantastic game, but we're talking about big third-party, what's the game that just came out? The vampire game. I already forgot it.
Redfall.
Thank you. I had it on the tip of my tongue here. Redfall came out and it was supposed to be the next big thing, and it wasn't. And not every game is going to be a hit. Not every big game is going to be there. You gotta try it, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, oh well. But the reason it didn't work is not because Redfall wasn't great narratively. From what I understand, it's because it wasn't great gameplay. Right? Unreal Engine at that point is what, 12, 13 years old? A 12 or 13-year-old kid could have probably coded better in Unreal Engine than what we got. Just saying. It was not Unreal Engine, especially on Xbox. We've seen it, we're used to better. As Xbox gamers from first party on Unreal, we're used to better. Gears comes into mind. Sea of Thieves comes into mind. Like, Sea of Thieves launched lacking content, but trust me, Unreal Engine worked, and it worked well. So as Xbox gamers, when they said Unreal Engine, and we're being shown this game at 60 frames and it's 30 frames and it's not optimized and the AI is stupid and all this stuff, we're just used to better as Xbox gamers. So it had nothing to do with Redfall is okay. It's that as Xbox gamer, I am accustomed to a certain level of Unreal Engine, especially from the Coalition. I am spoiled, and I am just used to better. And so they need a third party hit. So now all the pressure is on Starfield to be amazing. And I know Starfield is running on the Creation Engine, I believe, or variant of the Creation Engine. So, it's not like Xbox has a lot of programming expertise on Creation Engine. So I hope that they're doing it really well. Now, me personally, to me, the big exclusive on Xbox has always been Game Pass. That day one on Game Pass is more important to me than a big third-party exclusive. Because if I want to play a big third-party game, I will. Because I'm an adult. I can buy games. I'll give examples. Gotham Knights. I love Batman games. I'll play every single Batman game that comes out. And I thought Gotham Knights was amazing. It got a lot of bad reviews for no reason. I was having so much fun with that game. It was a good time. I had a lot of good time with it. The story was told well. I think the way it loaded missions was a little weird, but otherwise it was a good game. It was like a mix of open world and linear missions, but it was a good game. Was it as good as Arkham City or Gotham Knight, where the missions just loaded into the open world? No, but for the multiplayer aspect, man, I had so much fun kicking butt with my cousin, especially when you did the finisher moves. The other player would like go in slow motion in the air while you're still fighting at full speed. That was funny and fun at the same time.
I actually like the way that Gotham Knights did that, so that way your map didn't become overwhelming with symbols all over the place. You actually got a sense that you were completing stuff as you went.
Yeah, exactly. And the getting rid of all the crime on one night, it still took forever. That was getting rid of all the crime on the map in one night could take you 2 hours.
Yep.
I mean, there was a lot of crime. So anyways, Gotham Knights, a third-party game that I loved that did not come to Game Pass, but I played it day one, collector's edition price. That was amazing. But I'll give you another example. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. I may not have played it, and I am so happy it came to Game Pass because I loved Wolong. If you go to my shorts, it's all Wolong. Because I enjoy those types of game. I enjoy the difficulty. I'm a huge fan of Team Ninja. I love the combat, the complexity of it. Is it the best Souls-like Team Ninja game ever made? No, but it's damn good. It's a good. I'm gonna give it an 8. It's really good. So to me, the big exclusive to me is still Game Pass. I would rather them lock down more Game Pass games, but they need to lock down some big games, something at the level of Wolong or bigger. You know, if Gotham Knights would have came to Game Pass, I probably still would have bought it just because I like collecting the collector's editions for Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan. But if they lock down GTA to Xbox only, I think they'll move more consoles. If they lock down GTA to day one on Game Pass, I think they'll get more subscribers.
I think
For
they
sure.
would get both when you look at it. Like I said, if you're playing on your phone or you're
Mhm.
playing, other than PC, PC would be the only place that you wouldn't move anybody from. But if you're playing on these things, it would move somebody to buy at least an Xbox One S, or I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Series S, and at least that.
Yeah.
So there could be some movement. It just depends on where they're at with their subscription and where they're playing.
Yeah. And I'm not discounting smaller games. I'm thinking of Silk Song. What's the name of that game? Silk Song. It's the expansion to the Bug game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, Silk Song, right? Silk Song is a huge indie get for Xbox. When Silk Song launches, a lot of people are going to play it on Xbox. I'm just saying. So, yeah, I think Xbox needs to lock down some third-party exclusives, and they could do it full exclusive or Game Pass exclusive.
Hollow Knight.
I prefer Game Pass exclusive, personally, and they need to get into that cadence of launching, right? So, yeah, I think they have a content problem, a big game content problem, and it's of their own creation, and I think that's why, as gamers, we expect first party to do better. When you launch first party and your games aren't hitting, thinking like Crackdown, Redfall, that sucks as a gamer. Because first, if I'm invested in your ecosystem, you should be doing games on your console better than anybody else. Right? If you're not using FSR, if you're not using scaling, if you're not using auto HDR and all those RDNA features, as first party, third party is not going to use them either. And I think that's the main thing you get out of Nintendo and PlayStation. On the Nintendo Switch, they use all the features, HD Rumble. They use on the Nintendo Switch, HD Rumble, the gyroscope puzzles. They include all of those features in a game like this, right? They're not relying on third party to use the features of their console. They're doing it themselves. PlayStation, those haptics, the, whatever else PlayStation advertised on their console, they're doing it first party. Xbox, you advertised velocity architecture, which nobody has used, by the way. You advertised FSR, you advertised all this, and you haven't used it. Use it. Show us what this thing that eats monsters for breakfast can do.
That's why first party. Yeah, that's why first party has to show what the technology can do and how it works. And I understand the tools have to mature, but at least if you're not doing it, what's the reason anybody else is going to use it?
Mhm.
There's no reason. If you're not using it, why should they? And like you said, with the rumbles, the just
Haptics.
everything, the gyro, the haptics, all that stuff. If you're using it, you have incentive to say, hey, look, this is how well this game feels now because of these
Mhm.
features. You can do the same with your game,
Yeah,
and
and
you
I-
should. But
And
if
I
they
think
don't
that's a
do it,
big reason. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dreadful, keep going.
yeah. But if you don't do it, why would a third party follow?
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why Redfall did so bad. Xbox advertised 60, and you're not doing it. First party. I mean, Arcane Austin, you got to get out of that third party mindset and get into first party mindset.
Yeah,
You are
and
held
that-
to a much higher standard now.
They should have had the Gears team help them out and fix a lot of those issues. And I
Mhm.
understand they started before they were really ready for it.
Mhm.
And they, if the Gears team would have went there to help them fix it, they're really good pros at Unreal Engine 4, and
Yeah,
they could have just helped them through it.
exactly.
They could
You
still
know,
help them through it.
and I think that's why Redfall failed so much. Everything with not just the gameplay, but also the features. Xbox has the world's most powerful console. They said it. And it's a monster. It's the console that eats monsters for breakfast, and it couldn't even hit 60 FPS. That is bad. It's a bad look. It's optics. I'm telling you, it's optics,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it gives you the impression that Xbox is okay with treating their base this way, and that's not a good feeling. It really is not. I don't like being treated on the console like a second-class citizen to PC, and I've said this many times. No reason why Gear Tactics should have launched on PC first. It should have launched together. No reason why, Age of Empires needs to be launching separately from the console. There's no reason. It feels like the console gamers are not being prioritized, especially because there's features that the console's not using. Games are launching on other ecosystems instead of the entire ecosystem. And then when they do launch, you get the subpar version. And I'm sorry to say, but 30 FPS to 60 FPS is a subpar version.
But that was also a marketing mistake that they should have nipped in
Mhm.
the bud from the get-go, because a lot of it was pertaining to PC. Everything that they played when the influencers went over there, they were playing PC versions with the
Yeah.
controller. So again, that was optics that they screwed up and should have been forthright and said, yes, this is PC specs. This is PC gameplay that you're watching. The 60 is pertaining to PC, because even on their sheet it says 60, and then it says optimized for Series X and S, and then it says keyboard and mouse for X and S. So they did specify that you can use keyboard and mouse for an X and S. I mean, you already knew PC already has it, but then when you put 60 there, it's confusing to people. It didn't mean that it was 60 frames for Series X and S. It didn't say that. It just said
Right.
60. So people took that it was 60 across the board. And I'm like, no, it doesn't mean anything. It just depends on what you're looking at. And people just, changed up the narrative with how they felt, how it should be. They advertised 60. They said 60. They did this. They did that. And then they turned around and said, oh, crud.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to do 60 just yet on console. So, even 60 was a target for console. They should have said 60 on PC right now, 30 on console. And in the future, we are working to make it 60 also. Starfield, right? Todd Harder already says, we prefer 30, and everybody's saying, what are they going to do when they release? They better have a performance mode. They better have 60, baby. And they've already said, we don't care. We prefer it this way. This is our narrative. This is how we want to tell our story. And that's it. So we're still getting fight from the fanboys on what they want. And it's like, yes, you should tell them what you want, but you're going to boycott something because you're not getting it how you want. The problem is, if you think about it as a creator, now, Terry, you're a creator, you're making your game. But if I tell you I don't like the way that you created your character, that you should have done it in a different color, doesn't it change the narrative of your game on how it looks compared to the rest of your characters that you're fighting against, or going, your backgrounds? You pick specific things for specific items. And if it's a color, or if it's an angle, or, I have no idea about your game, so I'm not trying to release anything, because don't think, nobody think that I know anything about it, but I'm just using it as an example. If I tell her, I don't like the way that you've done this, well, it's her creative vision, whether or not, and same thing when it comes to accessibility. I think that's a catch-22 there. Yes, you should make your game accessible to everybody, but at the same time, does making it accessible in certain ways alter your game? It alters your vision. So if your vision didn't include this from the get-go, then you should be at fault by people not purchasing that game, but at least you stay true to your vision. So it's a catch-22, and it has consequences. Now, if you alter your game to include every little detail for everybody, and it alters your game from your vision, you're not going to be happy with it. So you have to find that happy medium to include everybody, but at the same time, still keep true to your vision. Now, 60 frames is not a accessibility thing. It's a preference. We watch TV at 24 frames a second. Does it give you headaches? No, you still watch TV at 24 frames a second.
But you're also not interacting, and latency is not there. I mean, gaming is an interactive medium.
That's different. You're talking about visuals, watching gameplay versus actually interacting. Interaction is different. You need that change. But people are saying 30 frames a second gives me headaches. I have to have 60 frames. That's a lie. You're falsifying information. We have fluorescent lights that flash at 60 frames a second. Oh wait, not frames, but hertz. But still, hertz and frames are synonymous when it comes to games. Okay, so
light traveling. Yeah, I get
right. So 60 hertz fluorescence give you a headache. See what I'm saying? People are affected by different things, but don't make it up just so you can legitimize your feelings. You know,
this game is at 30 frames per second, and I have no issue with it. But it was never once advertised at 60.
Right.
And I keep going back. It's optics. Xbox is not protecting their brand the way they should. Right. And I believe third-party exclusives can help them gain some momentum back. This whole Bethesda better lose that Bethesda reputation real fast.
Oh yeah,
real fast, because that Bethesda is not going to cut it as part of Xbox anymore.
Yeah, Starfield's that game where they can either turn that around or they're gonna dig that grave. you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's the funniest thing too, though, is we see a lot of hype from people. A lot of fans are hyping these games up, and then they get disappointed because it doesn't meet what they expected. And that's part of it. I was never.
That's why I have zero expectations for this game. I have zero hype. I want them to wow me.
Yes, exactly. I have a
lot of hype for Starfield. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but I was never interested in Starfield or Redfall. What I seen as time went on intrigued me for both games. So it wasn't like I had to play these games. And I'm obviously a horror fan, so you would think that I'd be into Redfall. It didn't like do anything for me. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I played it and I liked what I played and I had fun with it. Were there bugs there? Yes, there was a lot of things that were wrong, but it didn't stop me from having fun with my friends. Yeah. See, that's the other difference is I didn't have that high expectation, and you got these guys that were so super hyped that this was going to be the next greatest thing. This is the next step on the evolution of the Xbox games. And then Starfield is going to be the next one that's going to blow that thing out of the water. And then they play it and they're like, this game is crap. This is that. They completely 180'd everything that they said it was going to be. And no fault of their own. They did screw it up. They didn't do what they should have done. And Xbox and the gaming, Microsoft gaming division should have had a better quality control going up the ladder. Before it got out of Bethesda and ZeniMax, it should have went to someone under Phil to say, is this good enough? And I know that they did it, their own testing, and it scored higher than it actually did score. But again, there should have been more people that were very particular on how this game looked and ran and said, hey, hold the press, stop this before it gets released, put it back in again, bake it some more, because this isn't it. And again, with the marketing, they should have been honest about it, and they didn't realize how bad it wasn't perceived properly. Like you said, the optics. again, they need to be more transparent and more thoughtful of what they're putting out there, because they are saying, hey, this and this, but they just weren't thoughtful enough to be 100% accurate. They had to hear it from us, and people are saying, wait a second, we'll let them know now that it's 2 weeks out, it's 30 frames a second on console. They should have been more forthcoming to the company and to the higher ups of, we're not going to make this, this mark. We need to let everybody know ahead of time, months in advance, not 2 weeks in advance, before they say we can't do this. They should have said, we can't do it, we're aiming for it, and then they should have said, hey, you know what? By the way, this game is going to be 30 frames a second on console, and then 2 weeks out, turn around and been able to say, hey, you know what? We've been able to make some miracles. It's 60 frames now. We know we told you 30, but we're going to give you 60 frames. Now we're doing it for you. We're showing you we got the quality. We're showing you we have the talent. We're showing you we have this. They didn't do any of that, and they fell flat on their face because it was the exact opposite of what they should have done.
Yeah, agreed. Let's check in with the chat real quick. So Jax joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Jax. We appreciate you. He says, yep, Sony targets male gamers with mature, cool games. Xbox has no identity. Xbox has an identity. Trust me, and they have their own mature, cool games that I love. As I said, I'm a huge Xbox guy, so there's reasons why I buy an Xbox, and games is always going to be one of the top reasons. Actually, the top reason why I buy an Xbox. Jason Max says, just remember, Xbox is number one. It sure is, Jason Max. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Jago Coogan, yeah, optics matter a ton to the consumer, believe it or not. Absolutely. Whether it's true or not, and again, it comes back to that deceptive marketing, optics matter. And Xbox needs to start putting out some better optics. Just saying. And we don't know much about Starfield yet. Bethesda hasn't revealed much, saving that for the deep dive, and I am very excited for that deep dive as well. So yeah, absolutely. Guys, I think we beat this topic to death. We're like almost an hour and a half into it. I don't know what else to say other than get some third-party exclusives, give them to me on Game Pass, and stop misleading us and making us feel like second-class citizens. You're console players. That's my. If anybody hears anything out of us, that's the message I want to bring across today. With that, any final thoughts, guys? No? All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a great show. We had some fun. We had some serious conversations. Shout out to our resident guest, Dreadpool, for, again, being the third person on the podcast. I truly appreciate you. But most importantly, shout out to the iconic chat, guys. We wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for you guys. That's right. You guys, the chat will always be the MVP to any of the shows here on Iconic Video Games. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here. I'm Axel1324. Unmute. Unmute.
And I'm CoolCatTerri.
And I'm the Walking Dead man by buying ROG Ally, Dreadpool.
See you, everybody. Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day.